Yeah, if you can trust me, those are all easy, and I'll show you how to do it. It's important, my good sir, because that's how we know who's in scope and who's out of scope. That's what keeps what we do legal. Heck, but within the rules of engagement. Ah, crap. I missed the timer. Give me one sec. I still got to put up the green screen. Oops, open my phone. There we go. Of course, as soon as I get ready to turn on the camera, I get the hiccups. Yep. Let's chill out for just a second. Ads are almost done. Hey, the ads are done. All right. Good old Jack. This is not a bad flavor, iced tea lemonade, but I'm looking forward to getting to a different flavor. Not my favorite. It's good though. It's okay. It's a solid 6, whereas the rest of them have been like 8s and 9s. Still good. Maybe a 7. All right. So I was talking with some buddies about the weirdness we had in the lab last night. What are you doing? It's not like it's dirty sock water. It's just, for one thing, I don't usually care too much for lemonade, but I've had fond memories of iced tea and lemonade mixed, like to go to a restaurant or something. Well, apparently the memories are better than the current deal. Although that seems to be the weirdest thing. Food tasted better when I was a kid. I think it's because the foods got cheaper. So, Caffeine, what I was saying, dude, was understanding that subnetting can be hella important. Because that's what keeps us in scope whenever we do, like, offensive operations, right? And there could be a couple of actual... There could be some serious detriments there. Let me draw a little example here. Ah, damn it, I didn't connect the iPad. Let me bring this up here. Timed out, you bastard. All right, there we go. Okay. So imagine you've got a layout like this. I got the placement of each octet. Yeah. No, but the reason I was saying that this becomes so important is, let's say there's, and this is a contrived example, but and a simplistic one, but still a good example. Let's say you've got a client and their network is just 10.10.00/16. Okay, well that's real easy to know, like, where they've got stuff. However, they tell you everything is in scope, right? So you're allowed to go attack what's in this range, but you need to exclude this one particular range, which is 10.10. I'm trying to think of what would be a good example here. Everything from a 0 to 3 in the third octet. 0/24. I tell you, you've got to exclude those, because maybe there's some sensitive systems in there. Like, it could be industrial controls. Stuff like that. Stuff that doesn't react well, super well to port scanning, right? Right. So you might say, okay, well, cool. So if you don't understand the subnetting and you come through and you just scan this entire /16, you're going to start hitting this stuff maybe in this industrial controls network. And industrial control networks are notoriously known for being stupid when it comes to port scanning and enumeration and them just getting knocked over because they're not super robust systems. It does. For the most part, I mean, the classes are real easy, right? Class A is a /8, Class B /16, C is a 24. But for the most part, nobody really worries about doing these classes anymore. Yeah, nobody really worries about doing these classes anymore. This part is actually real just legacy usage, because this was all used, that ABC stuff was used before they went to Cider. So Cider is now classless. Interdomain routing. Yeah, exactly, Ford. So this is the stuff that this is how everything is done in modern day. There are very few systems that are going to force you to follow the ABC convention these days. So, can't type fast on mobile. No, you're good, dude. But this is why I was saying the subnetting part is so important, because this is right here, understanding like, hey, what networks are in range and where you can hit stuff, super important, right? Because there could be there's a lot of network space in here, but you need to exclude this particular one. Stuff like Nmap makes it really easy because you can actually include like an exclusion range in here, right? But just be aware, there is a purpose to that. One is it can make your life easier if you know how to use it properly. Two is it makes sure that you stay inside your legally permitted scope during your penetration test. Don't go knock something over. And when the client sucks at subnetting sometimes, they'll tell you that, oh yeah, we've got all this stuff over here somewhere. And you go hit it, like, hey, you got some critical vulnerabilities in there. And like, oh, that's not us. What is it? I don't know. You're the one who hacked into it. Oh, God. This was in the paperwork you sent us. You know that, right? So lots of fun when that happens. Thankfully, I can only think of 2 times in my career so far that has happened, but neither one of them were fun. So, all right, I actually want to go check something here. So one of my buddies had the idea over on Castile Black to go check the event logs and see if we can see a log for this. So I'm going to try something real quick. I'm going to hit this again. It still works. Okay. I'm going to go pull up Castile Black. I think this is it right here. No, that's Winterfell. Here we go. Castile Black. So we'll set this here, and then we'll see if we can see event viewer here. I gotta remember how to do this. I don't remember what the event code is. It does the event logs for SMB authentication. Let's see what event IDs we might get for this. The following traditional SMB events can be audited on this one right here. Isn't the number of octets out of 32 that are zeros versus ones when looking at the octet in binary? Or if you have the binary memorized, easier to memorize that way? Not exactly. Attention, what happens is that slash just tells you how many bits are turned on in the subnet mask, right? So if you've got something like this here, right? I'm going to make up a weird example here. We'll just do, we'll say 192.168.69. Nice. 237. Yeah, okay, yes, in the mask, exactly. So, like, if you say this is slash 22, right? That's the network address. Then you know all of these are turned on, right? So that's going to be a 255. And then this one has another 8. That's 255. Then you know this one has to be 0 because it lands in that group of 8 right here. Lands in this one. This was 8, 16. This would be 24 if it took up the whole thing there. But all we're going to do is just do a little bit of quick arithmetic. So it's 128, 192, 224, 240, 248, 252. So it'd be 252 right here. That's another pattern that I recommend people learn, is learn this. What I did when I would do subnetting, if I wanted to do it real fast, is actually I would do it on my fingers. And I had actually played with doing binary arithmetic on my fingers, like adding and subtracting. So the two patterns you want to learn is like just your powers of 2 up to 8, right? And I always started them from left to right because these numbers here, they're listed in Little Indian, which means the high bit is over here, the low bit's on this side here. But understanding that, if you do, just memorize this sequence. This is one of the few things I'll tell you to memorize. 128, 64, 32, 16, 8, 4, 2, and 1. Bam. And then memorize adding them together. So this is 128, 192, 224, 240, 240, 248, 252, 254, 255. And if you just remember those two sequences, you can do a lot of subnetting really fast just on 4 digits right here. Yeah. And so these are the only 2 sequences that if you memorize these, you can actually do a lot of the subnetting real fast. Because this right here tells you how many on bits you've got. You take 69, you convert it over into, oh my God, stop it. Over into binary, right? So 128's off, 64 would be on, then 32 would be off, 16 would be off. Let's see, what would it be? It'd be 64 plus 4. So it'd be off, on, off, off, right here. Bam. And then you come over to a /22, right there. Bam. So that tells you where you are in. So actually, I'll tell you what, this should have been a 1 also. Bam. So you know 68 is the base network address. Yeah. Like I said, it's not super difficult. There's a few repeating patterns that once you get used to them, you'll be able to start knocking this out super fast. Yeah, exactly, Caffeine. That was the way I was taught back in the day. Was you go through and you line up. Oh no, undo. You go through and you line up the binary, and then you could just do a binary ANDing against it, and you're good. It's kind of voodoo math because those numbers give you the ability to make every number between 0 and 255. I know, isn't that crazy? Yeah, so you think about it. I tell people I can count to 255. I tell people I can count to 256 on my fingers, and they don't believe me. I'm like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and they're like, "Oh, shut up." Especially about the time you get to 3. Figuring out the binary as well as hex helps for MAC addresses and IPv6. Yeah, exactly. So once you get kind of comfortable going from decimal to binary and then to hex and going back and forth, the networking gets really easy with that. Then it's just a little bit of binary arithmetic. You're good. All right, I think these are the ones we want to look for. 540 or 4624. Actually, this is for NetApp specifically. I don't know if I want to deal with NetApp. I forget what the logon event ones are here. That's not helpful. So one of the cool things is, even though this is for Windows 8, these event logs, they're identical and backwards compatible. Does it tell us what our event logs are? It does not. I mean, we should be able to see like a logon event. Let's just go and see if we can tinker around in there. So if we go to, I think it's Windows logs, security. An account was logged off. Account was successfully logged on. See what this tells us here. Computer, this one right here, details. Let's see if we can see the details here. Target domain, target user SID. What does it tell us the user ID though? Why did the binary get mad at everyone all the time? Because no one would pay it a 2's compliment. Oh god, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad, DJ. Bad. Oh wait, there we go. Target username. This was for Rob Stark. This is not what we wanted. This was at 9:33. Okay, let me go do this real quick. Let's hit this one more time. There we go. Ban him. Nope, there's no banning for bad puns. How do I refresh this? Refresh. All right, so the one at 9:33:07, the last one we looked at. Okay, so we had a couple more after this. So we got this one right here. That's Rob. Target username, Rob Stark. Rob Stark. What is this? Account failed to log in with a null SID. What the heck? So weird. Why is it saying Rob Stark? Target username guest. So DJ, we ran into something weird last night. Oh, here we go. Here's Arya. Okay. Now, is this a failure? Okay, that's weird. So it says target username Arya. All right, what is this one? Is at 9:34:28. So I'm gonna do the good login again. And just to prove that this works, I can list out the shares if I wanted to. So this one right here worked. So we're talking 9:34:28 was the last one. So refresh. What's this mean, credential validation for guest? I don't get it. That one's Rob, that one's Rob, that one's Rob, that one's Rob. Oh, I think we're still getting those because we have the SOX proxy up. That's why. Our NTLM Relay X SOX proxy is still alive. This one right here. I'm going to exit out of that. Let's see. All right, cool. So this I can kill. Yeah, I killed this. That's why we were seeing all those things for Rob Stark, because we actually did an NTLM relay for Rob Stark. This session was still up, this SOX proxy. All right, so now that that's dead, let me go do something here. Let's go refresh these logs. All right, so 9:38:11. That's the last one we had in here. Cool. So now let's go fire this again. This one right here, because I want to see if this showed up in our packet capture. Is it going to show up in our event logs? Because if so, I'm going to be really weirded out. 9:38:11. Okay. What the hell, man? I'm so at a loss right here. And because this command actually does work. So DJ, here's the issue we ran into last night. With this user, Arya Stark, we're trying to see if she had authentication to a system called Castile Black, which is just Castle Black misspelled. And so when we tried this, you see there'd be status no logon servers available. However, I fat fingered a right bracket into it, and then all of a sudden it started working. And not only is it working, right? I can go list shares that way. What's on the box? And if I change the password to something like foobar, oh wait, it's still listing. Oh, okay. This was another thing, and I wanted to double check this. So, I think this has null share enumeration. Check that out. Watch this. If I come in here, I'm going to put this here. I'm going to put the domain as Sug on these nuts. And I fire it again, it's still probably going to list the shares. Oh, no, I didn't like that. Okay. What if I take out the domain? That's so weird. All right, so what if I take out this angle bracket, or this square bracket? No logon servers available. What if I take out the domain name? Here. I need no domain. Okay, so it still tries to target the north. Tag the foobar. What if I set the domain to be something non-existent? Okay, so there's definitely something jacked up on Castile Black, because I just set it to a non-existent domain and authenticated and it worked. Hey Toads, what's up, dude? Oh, no problem, DJ. Yeah, I'm not going this year. Hopefully it's not going to be too damn hot, because last I heard the weather was... It's already hot as hell in Vegas, but I heard even the devil's taking a vacation from Las Vegas this year because it's too damn hot. Oh, it's your first time? Dude. So Tiberius put out a video on like what to do for your first time. I don't know if you saw that, but I was telling everybody 3 things. 1, get the Hacker Tracker app so you can pre-plan what you want to go see. And the first time I tell everybody, go see as much as you can of like different areas. The following years, you can specialize into something. 2, wear comfy shoes. 3, make sure you eat real food. 4, make sure you drink water and not just booze. And 5 is wear comfy shoes because you're going to walk like 10 miles a day. Hey, Chris. Did the announcement not go out in the Discord? Hang on. Oh, it did. Yeah. I think. Hold on. It didn't go out yet. It didn't go out for today. Rude? That's weird. Like anyone goes outside in Vegas. Well, I mean, the daywalkers do, like me, but... That's weird that the, I was going to drop it in there for anybody who might have been watching for it, because I didn't even see that it didn't get loaded up into Discord. Hang on one sec, I need to go drop something. Gotta do something real quick. Stand by. Hold on to your butts. There we go. All right. I'll be participating in the Red Team Rumble, doing a few workshops. Nice, dude. Dude, I went to the Red Team Village the first year they had it. It was fun. It was cool. I learned some new ways that I wasn't familiar with for breaking Cisco equipment because they had a little CTF setup in there. And then I didn't go for I think I didn't go for a couple years. And then last year when I went, their line was out the door for the Red Team Village. I mean, it was over an hour wait to get in there. It was nuts. Hey, J Money, what's up, dude? We did kind of build out a hacker lab, yeah. So we built out just the we built out a couple here. There's two that we've got. One is the Game of Active Directory. We're messing around with that right now because actually we're going to use it as a playground for learning Mythic. And then this book right here by James Forshaw, Windows Security Internals, he had an explanation in the appendix in the back, how to set up an AD lab using Hyper-V. So we ported that over to Ludus as a learning exercise and getting it set up. I have to do JavaScript this week in class. My condolences. I had to do so much JavaScript. No, Jimmy, you're good, dude. Is this something we can access, or do you have to build it? You'd have to build it yourself. I would, if I could think of a convenient way to host it, I would. But there's a lot of security considerations to go into that. Could I do the same on VMware? Yeah, I think you can get VMware Workstation Pro for free for home license now. And so you could do this on it. In fact, I'm pretty sure for Game of Active Directory itself, that's not it. Hang on. Let me go pull up this guy right here. Actually, hold on. I've got the go. That's the walkthrough. That's not it. Game of Active Directory. I believe they have kind of like instructions on how to deploy it for different setups. Let's see. Yeah, so you have different providers you can use, and one of them is VMware. But I don't know if this is ESXi or if it is if this is using Workstation. Oh, here we go. Providing VMware Workstation. So yeah, here's the instructions on how to get it started with VMware. Ludus actually makes it really simple. I've been really liking Ludus and pimping it out to everyone. Yeah, it's feasible. What you have to do though is just make sure that you've got enough RAM going, because let me pull this up. So here's what we have running on Proxmox currently. We have a couple of dangling routers for networks I've got shut down. We've got one additional Windows 11 box running, and then the rest of this is Game of Active Directory, essentially. So currently, right now, this server's consuming 70 gigs of RAM. So RAM is the one that's going to limit you most. If you had 64 gigs of RAM and you're running something like Windows 10, like especially if you're running Tiny 10 with VMware Workstation installed in it, you'd probably get away with it just fine. Actually, I have these machines kind of over-provisioned for what they're used to be. They're running 4 CPUs and 8 gigs of RAM. I think the initial deployment of them is supposed to be 2 CPUs, 4 gigs of RAM. So if you got 64 gigs of RAM in your system, you would probably be fine to run Game of Active Directory on there. That reminds me of a character from David Bowie's Labyrinth. I can't hear David Bowie now without just thinking about Zoolander when they want to have the walk off. You know, the two main characters, like they want to, like, I don't know what they do, and David Bowie shows up, was like, He's like, I'll judge it. And the song just goes, it's David. Yeah, the pose off, the walk off. Magically pulls his underwear out of his butt. Oh, too funny. All right, so I think server dose, for some reason, is just being doomed. Let me go double check the DNS configuration. IP config all. Yeah, so the DNS server 10.4.10.254, it's reverting back for some reason. This DNS server should be 10.4.10.11, I believe. So there was a note about this in the deployment guide, where we might run across it. Let me see. Ludus. Let's see. We go to the... No, that's not it. Go to environment guides. Yeah. So environment guides, go to Game of Active Directory here. There was a note in here about a potential DNS issue and how to fix it with PowerShell. Oh, this one in particular was if you encounter an error with task group domains, synchronize all domains, or similar, manually remove this from DNS entry servers for the host. You can do this via the GUI here, or you can run this PowerShell. So what's weird is we did that on this machine. I don't know why it's getting that IP address back though. But you know what, we'll do it again. So if we do change adapter options, properties. So our preferred DNS should not be 10.4.10.254. This should be crap. What's Winterfell? Try to remember. I think it's .11. Watch, this one should fail here. Yeah, log on failure because it's using the incorrect. So something is kind of funky with that one. But anyway, yeah, Winterfell.11 should be the domain controller here. For if we just want to double check it, we look right here. It should be in north.7kingdoms.local. Yeah. So Winterfell, which is 10.4.10.11. So we'll change this to 11 here. Let's look at this again. Properties. Properties. Okay, so now it says 10.4.10.11. So now, when we try the actual login for our, should be this one right here. Password needle. See, now it works. Okay. So for some reason, it's always DNS. It's always freaking DNS. So DNS got jacked up again. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to reboot this server. I want to see if the DNS goes back to .254 here. So reboot this guy real quick. Let's see. If you're doing low-level stuff for Windows, have you read Pavlov Yosevich's books? I checked it out a bit, but my programming skills need to catch up with my ambition to learn for the subjects. Yeah. I have not seen those ones. Are those the Windows internals books? Caffeine? Hey, laughing. What's up, man? I have not seen those. This one is not. It's just security internals, right? And it's all in PowerShell. I probably will go dig into that some more, especially since I did buy the RTO2 course, but I didn't buy any lab time. So I'm going to just be reading through it and kind of like grokking the info a bit. There's a Windows kernel programming backbook. Dude, kernel programming is so weird. I fall asleep reading. Well, I mean, it's not like it's passive reading, Chris, right? Actually, I've got this book. I'm trying to get in the habit of reading a little bit before I go to bed. So I'm currently reading About Face by Colonel Hackworth because it was one of like the first books that Jocko covered on his podcast, and he was talking about it. In fact, I remember some of the stories from the podcast as I'm reading through them. And so I'm going through and I'm reading through that, and thankfully the chapters are nice sizes for me to read like a chapter before I go to bed. So I'm sitting there reading through those right now. I say chapters. I've only gotten through one chapter so far. Yeah. Dude, the cool thing about taking notes, though, Caffeine, is that the way you have to process those notes helps you remember them. I mean, not necessarily for everybody. Wait, no way. Is Tyler on right now? I kind of want to go troll him. Just to mess with him. He is live. Okay. I know he was trying to squeeze in some extra live streams before he left for DEF CON, but I kind of want to go... I think of some way to, like, go harass him. Yeah, so... Because you got to think about it. What you're doing here is you're going through a multi-step process. And remember what I said about if you are trying to learn something, you don't want frictionless. You got to have friction when you're learning something. A little bit. You want a tiny bit of friction. You don't want it to be a massive heat because then you're going to be more frustrated with the friction than actually learning the material. But you do want a little bit in here. So what you're doing is you're learning, or let's say you're ingesting information, right? So you have to ingest it, but then you've got to abstract it also. You've got to start building like, hey, what are the abstract pieces of this idea? So that way you can shorten it. So that way you can then get it to paper. And this adds a little bit of friction to it whenever you do that. So that's one of the reasons why it helps so much. The other thing is because then the process of manually like doing these abstractions of getting the key points and the key pieces of data and the key structures to the object you're trying to learn, this right here is what builds up the circuitry in your brain so that you can keep learning it a little bit better. Learning about a technique called Zettelkasten, which is for knowledge management. Cool. I have an idea. Tell Tyler OSCP came out with an entry-level cert that prepares aspiring hackers better than WGU and ActiveBox. All hail OSCP. God. You probably might see him pop a vein on stream. I'm curious about something real quick now. Darn ads. I wanted to see what he was doing. Pen 200, to be honest, Pen 200 helps more than Hack the Box already. It can't be. Let's see. He's just getting his stream started. Otherwise, I would get in there and mess a little bit more. But he's a good guy. I like keeping him on his toes. All right, let's see. Cool. So now we figured out what the hell that issue was. It was our good old friend and nemesis DNS. Salty, my brother. How you been, dude? I'd go visit Tyler, but I know where my loyalty's like. No, that's all good, man. Okay, so cool. What we're trying to find though is, hey, can we get command execution on this server? We want to go do that. I'm glad to hear that, Salty, man. I miss you, brother. Dude, everything's been so crazy, especially with like summer coming to an end and school getting ready to start. Everything's just freaking in turbo mode right now. I had to go take my son for his yearly checkup this morning, so I was up till 5:30 in the morning trying to finish a report that was due today. So finally, about 5:30, my wife comes in and she finds me asleep on my keyboard. She sends me to bed. So I slept for a couple hours, then we took my son to the school, and then I finished that report, or not to school, to the doctor, and I finished that report. Oh, Panda, you gotta get down. You're too damn hot. Get out. Get out. You're making me sweat. Go away. She's just a little radiator. Let's see. So sounds like fun. Yeah, it wasn't bad, man. When we got back home, my wife took the day off from work because it's just such a chore just getting the kids to the doctor's office. It takes practically all day anyway. So she and my older son, I call him Zero because he's the first son. They went and took a nap. I finished the report, got it all done. It was good. It was actually an interesting pen test, and like I had full source code for it. And what was funny is the whole thing was written in PHP, and I was bemoaning that I never get any PHP apps. Like you just don't see it anymore. And then this dude comes and drops this absolutely massive PHP app on me, and I'm like, yes, I'm gonna tear this thing apart. And he cut no corners on security in that application. I'm like, well, this is a rude how do you do. I did, dude. I did. And still, you know what still bugs me? I have this unicorn of SQL injection in the wild, like unknown SQL injection. I don't know what it is. I have the worst luck on either getting apps that actually have hardened SQL queries, or two, if it's in there, the app's so big and I wasn't giving any recon and I just not finding it. Everybody on my team but me has found a damn SQL injection. And then we had a company that had a group of applications we were testing for them, and they were notorious. Every single application there had SQL injection. I was like stoked. I'm like, yes, I'm guaranteed to find like a new SQL injection exploit in this application. And that thing was completely different from all the others. I was pissed. And so we get done, I go deliver the report, I talk to the client, it's like, hey, by the way, this app, it seemed to be built a little bit differently from your other apps. What was it a different dev team or something? He goes, oh yeah, we bought that from another company. Oh, you bastards. You bastards. Oh, I was so mad. Of course, everybody on my team thought it was hilarious. It's like Nicolas Cage trying to get the Shelby GT 500 and Gone in 60 Seconds. He can't get himself a Shelby, I can't get a damn SQL injection. Although, admitted, his is cooler. Let me go check something real quick. Out of curiosity, over here on Castillo Black. PowerShell. Net local group administrators. Oh, so Mormont is on here. I wonder if we can WMI exec onto this box. Not sure. In packet WMI exec. Gotta remember what all the bells and whistles are on here. So it's target, which is domain user pass at. Okay, so let me try this. So it's north backslash or forward slash north aria start needle at 10.4.10.22. Access denied. All right, that's not what I expected. Usually WMI exec is kind of locked down to administrators anyway. Yeah, only if it's a good one. I have found O days that were so stupid I never reported them. Because the conditions to make it work were so convoluted. And the system was so old and outdated. I know they were never going to fix it. So I didn't even report them. Not sponsored by Jocko yet. Let's see here. Well, one thing we could also do is we could go check sysvol. There's probably something in sysvol for this. Another thing we could do is we could actually go try Rob Stark because I know his password. Actually, I know for a fact Rob Stark isn't a... Actually, I know he's not an administrator. He might be. I don't know. Let's see. Sexy Wolfie. Access denied. Put it on tab 11. Hold on. I guess that means Rob is a domain administrator. Let's see. Or let me change this to Rob Stark. Sexy Wolfie. Oh, so Rob is a domain administrator. Nice. Nice. So what we could do is probably just do PS exec here. Nice. Very nice. Okay. Yeah, Friday's the only day I don't stream Leffen. Friday nights, that's time to go spend with the wife and kids. And so my wife likes to go to shows, like different types of shows, and usually Friday nights when we go to that. Trying to find a day to do a Goad stream. Okay. Go. That's the slab we're in right here, Caffeine. Game of Active Directory. Definitely won't go after you. You can always go before me. Go before me and like get all the people that are all the daywalkers, and then you can raid me with the zombies of the people that just left the stream running. Let's see. All right, cool. So now actually we're here. So what we need to do now is, so we've got command execution on the domain controller. Cool. Actually, I want to exit out of this. I'm going to go try this on 22. I'll just tank the wife being mad at family time being taken one day. Just tell her, hey, this is one day a week. You know, the main reason my wife puts up with this is because, one, we do it after the kids are in bed. Two, she has solo hobbies of herself. So there are things like, particularly reading is her big thing. So reading's not really a multiplayer activity. So that helps out a ton. The only time she really gets mad at me is like when I stay up late, like I did last night. I don't come to bed because then she sleeps like shit because she's kind of like is half awake, waiting for me to finally come to bed before she like finally shuts off her brain. So she was a little miffed at me this morning, but not over the stream. She was miffed because I stayed up too late. Yeah. By the way, we came up with a new acronym for my wife. She's the SOC, the supportive, organized caregiver. And the SOC is often very proficient at containing the APT. For me, what's late for you? For me, it's around 11 to 12 at night. Dude, I used to not go to bed until like 4 in the morning. That was like my usual. And then after college and after getting married, that just completely changed. I was getting up at like 4:30 in the morning so I could work out before I had to leave for the office. All right. I was like, what am I doing here? I know what I'm doing. I am going to pull up Le Mythic, log in. And what we need to do is go create a new payload. So this was our Linux test payload. Now, what this means. This was on the 5th, which was yesterday. I'm going to resolve that. Actually, I don't care. All right, so what we need to do is we need to go make a new payload. I'm going to see if I can zoom this in a little bit so y'all can see better. That's about as good as I could get it without squishing the interface too much. Because this is a very busy interface right here. My sleep schedule's been demolished recently. Word. But have 2 on-site assessments at the end of the week that will force me back into shape. Nice. Yeah, I haven't had to go on-site very much recently, unless it was to take like a testing system out to a client. It was funny because I had a huge surge in physical and phishing assessments in the beginning of the year, and then they just dropped off a cliff. It was just this weird little cluster of them. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Actually, I take that. We need to go. Actually, I'll tell you. Maybe I already installed it. Let me see. So we can do Apollo or Merlin. I think Apollo's the one that my buddies that use Mythic said they really like. Let me go check. So if we come over to Le Mythic and we look at the Mythic Agence, we go to Apollo. Yeah, who's our primary contributors for this one? Out of curiosity. This guy's an IBM X-Force Red member and a Kali contributor. Damn. Right, let's go to Mythic Agents again here. Hang on, I'm trying to remember which one. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Apollo. I don't think it was Athena. Yeah, Athena was written in C, that's right. So it has to be Apollo was the one I was thinking of. They're both Wi-Fi tests and not physicals. Oh, okay. I got so sick of like trying to do like multiple like Wi-Fi dongles and stuff like that. I actually did just get a pineapple. And that actually, for a lot of stuff like for what my clients need, that works super well. So I spent a lot of time tinkering with it and making it like operational. All right, so we need to choose binaries that we want to stomp into the palota. So this is one of the things that... Oh, there we go. I can just do that. That gives us a little bit more breathing room. But... Well, how do I go back? A lot of consulting firms market phishing services more than what it really is. Yeah, it's so especially because it's, even though it's still the most common vector, it's still pretty difficult to get a phishing payload like to land in someone's inbox. It takes a lot of steps to go through. Let's see. Okay, so we can do execute assembly. I'm going to throw that in there. I'm also going to put in a cd command. Actually, I'm just going to leave it like that. I just want to see. Yeah, I'm going to put a cd. What else do I want to do? Power pick. Eject PowerShell loader assembly into a sacrificial process and execute it. PowerShell, run a PowerShell command in the currently executed process. And then we have PowerShell import. Okay, so you don't have to stamp all these that you want to potentially use over into the payload. Mythic is supposed to have a way you can dynamically load these over. So I think we'll call that good. We'll go ahead and hit next. And we'll have this do HTTP to these nuts. Now, can I turn on both of these? Can. Awesome. We're spinning up phishing services because so many customers have asked for it. It's a work in progress for us right now, and I don't want to work too tightly with sales to support us, so I'm not sure what one would cost. Dude, so a lot of people misunderstand how phishing should work, and there's so many detections around phishing. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's ways to go around it, but anybody who says that they're a phishing specialist, they should not be shit on. Because if they're really like a phishing and spear phishing and initial access specialist, that really is a very dense field. Because you got to think that there's all these different email gateways they might have to get through. There's spam filters they might have to get through. There's domain Karen feeding. There is domain configuration so that you can try and make your system look that. There's just stylistic choices you've got to make about setting up a fake website so that if a SOC analyst goes and looks at it, they realize, hey, this looks kind of legit, even if it does look shitty. Yeah, after having to do some, doing some phishing setups, where it wasn't just, hey, go capture the username and password, because everybody's using MFA now, so you've got to set up something like Evil Jinx so that you can do MFA captures. It's crazy. I'm going to change the name. Actually, hold on, before I do this, let me look at my C2 profiles. Can I edit you? Instance name. I can do an instance name? Save an instance. Okay. Instance name. What am I going to call this instance name? I don't know. We'll just call it Go. Go these nuts. And then the name pipe is going to be Sexy Wolf 31337. Oh, you're supposed to kill date on this is oh, it's a year in the future. Okay, perfect. Great. All right, now let's go make our payload. So, generate new payload. Windows. Then a payload. A Windows executable. Next. We'll let this just be default for now. I'm not going to put any of the extra stuff in because I just want to see what happens. All right, so we're going to turn on these nuts. And we're going to turn on Go these nuts. Hit next. And we're going to call this Apollo Windows Test.exe. Great. Payload. Now this one is doing C#, so it's probably going to take a little bit longer to build than the other one, because the other one's being built in Go. Go is usually pretty fast. What do we see updates? Any warnings? Oh, we already cleared that one. More levels. Oh, this one failed. Why'd you fail? Cannot mix egress and peer-to-peer CT. Oh, so that's the kind of stuff we might want to go like try to submit just a quick pull request to, especially since I'm not familiar with React. I've never done React, but they all kind of work on the same principle. We could go tinker around. We could fiddle around and find out with it. And go through and make a, we can make like an update, say, oh, okay, yeah, by the way, if you mix these profile types, you can't choose them. So, I need to do. We trigger a new build. Oh, that ain't working. Delete. Remember hearing some of the best hackers specialize in one attack, vector, and vulnerability? Yeah, pretty much, yeah. There's known computers have gotten so wide and so deep in every category. It reminds me a lot of how math used to be, right? Gauss was the last person that knew everything there was to know about math. After Gauss, it became so expansive. There's no one that knows everything about math these days. And computers have taken the exact same path. They become so expansive. You can speak intelligently on different areas, but you're not going to know how to be like intelligent on all those areas. It's usually one, maybe two areas. Kind of like doctors, really. All right, so can I change this so I can go regenerate it? Check agent C2 configuration. Let me try that. All right, that's not what I wanted. Actions. Yeah, maybe I'm just gonna go remake a new one. All right, delete. We will create ourselves a new payload, and we'll just won't do it that way this time. So Windows, follow, default commands, HTTP these nuts, and then we'll call this one Apollo HTTP. You'll see PhDs in number theory, category theory, or some exotic topics like knot theory. Yeah, right? So did it build or what? Okay, cool. So it looks like it's building. I didn't have a specialty in math because I only did up to a 4-year degree. And so usually the capstones for a bachelor's degree in math is something called analysis, which is really how calculus used to be taught back in the day. It was a very axiomatic, derived approach. Rather than how we teach calculus these days, we say, okay, look, here's how derivatives work, here's how integrals work. Memorize a shit ton of integration rules, memorize a few derivative rules, do some algebra, you're good. When you do analysis, you're actually going down, you're breaking down very fine, detailed, and doing like proofs of say, okay, well, we can prove this now about how this works in the idea of calculus. And then the other one is abstract or modern algebra. And that is actually a really cool subject. That was probably my favorite, because that's when you're dealing with stuff like groups, rings, fields. And those are, if you imagine like the rules that govern number sets, it's as if it's as if you said, hey, let me take away some of these rules and drop it down to something real small. So things that are groups aren't going to be fields. Some things that are fields also kind of act like groups. And the way I likened it was, if you think of all the different specialties of mathematics as being rooms in a mansion. So let's say you got a calculus room, you got a number theory room, you've got a p-adics room, right? Abstract algebra is kind of like the frame of the mansion. It doesn't have a room unto itself. It's the frame of the building. Actually, I did real and complex analysis, but we were talking about real analysis usually. Complex analysis was an elective. Sitting here waiting for this little C2 agent to build. Come on, little agent. You can do it. The little agent that could. Yeah, I actually did like linear algebra. Linear algebra was super handy because I did that before I did differential equations. And so if you do linear algebra and then differential equations, it gives you a big leg up on differential equations. It also actually helped out a ton in probability and statistics when you have to solve Venn diagrams, because those Venn diagrams are just systems of linear equations. You could just blast those right there. You solve it. You take the reduced row echelon form. Bam, you're good. What sort of topics are in mathematical physics? I mean, pretty much anything you can think of. Once you start getting into like the very theoretical physics, there's a lot of stuff that goes into that. Let me think if I can think of a good example. Let me think. I don't know. I never finished my physics degree because I was going to have to stay an extra year in school, and I was getting married. So I decided I needed to graduate and actually start making money. So let me think. What actually would go with that? I mean, pretty much most mathematical types you can think of. Typically what happens is the field of mathematics is created first, and it is purely theoretical. And then the way you piss off the pure mathematicians is you find an application in physics for their math, because then it's not technically theoretical math anymore. So I always would tease my professors that were working on stuff, and I was like, I had one that was working on a field called differential geometry. That's almost like, hey, if you keep giving me lip, I'm going to go to the physics guys. We're going to find an application for your math, and then you're going to be an applied physicist. You're going to be an applied mathematician. Boom. They hated when I threatened with that. Yeah, I feel you laughing. If I could go back, I probably would like to have completed a master's in math. I don't know about a PhD, though, because when you are doing a bachelor's degree, you're still covering a wide berth. And when you go up to a master's degree, that berth doesn't really shrink very much. But when you go into a PhD, it's like instantly, bam, your area of focus becomes very narrow. I want to learn cryptography, so I don't mind doing applied math. Cryptographic math is very interesting, especially when you start going to things like number theory, or I actually thought about trying to do more applied cryptography. It's just there's a huge barrier to entry into that field, and there's not a lot of positions where it pays very well. So it's really, that's why a lot of cryptographers are really hobbyists. I did not start a PhD, no. As soon as I got my bachelor's, I was done. I deuced out of TCU. I was like, I'm going to go get a job in IT. I was interviewing 4 jobs for IT positions finals week of my senior year. I showed up to one of my finals with a suit on, and the professor's like, you know, the test isn't actually like a formal event. I was like, no, I got to go to an interview after the exam. Cheeto, what's up, dude? It's generally extremely discouraged to roll your own crypto and fraud anyway. True, it is. It is generally discouraged. Because also a lot of the the crypto implementations, especially in C, they're written by such loving, caring nerds that they have really optimized the crap out of it. They make it so it runs efficiently. I have some FAFO money from the GI Bill, so I'm going to finish up my bachelor's real quick at WGU, out of pocket, and then use that for a master's. Oh, nice. Good idea. Dude, this thing is taking forever to build. Did I... Okay, there we go. I guess we just didn't get the hook. Awesome. Okay. Now, I need to find out... So in Cobalt Strike, we could take this file and we could go host it like on a web server. Do we have the same capability in Mythic? I was thinking of using the Random by GI Bill for Sans Nice. Chris, if you're going to do that, save it for the more advanced sans courses that you might want to take. And the reason I say that is because they're more expensive, but they are, the course material is not bad. Sans is just fucking expensive, man. And I usually only recommend people take sans if your company's covering the dime on it. Sans certs go for anywhere from 4 to 7,000. To put it this way, because you guys know I'm a big biohacker type, right? I have a cold tub in my house, and I have a infrared sauna in my house. Those two pieces of equipment cost about what one sans certification would cost. Linux, what's up, dude? Let's see. I think I might need to go check. So what is this? Search operation, files, artifacts, proxies, screenshots, credentials, callbacks, reporting, MITRE. So I wonder if we don't have like a built-in HTTP server on Mythic like we do in Cobalt Strike. I mean, if we don't, that's fine. This is one thing I want to do is just kind of say, hey, what's the equivalent to what I would... If I was in this situation, here's what I would do with Cobalt Strike. How do I accomplish the equivalent task in Mythic? That's kind of what I'm doing right now. Operational pieces. Let's see. Browser scripts, active callbacks, file browser search proxy, credentials, comments, expanded callbacks, screenshots, event feed, understanding commands, payload type, C2 profiles, API tokens. I'm not seeing anything like a web server on here, which is not a problem. We can go spin one up real quick with Python. With the money from buying cert vouchers, you could use it to build a new PC or a lab to improve electronics in case of for biohacking. Yeah, no kidding. Actually, I do want to build a new PC at the end of the year. Depending on a couple things. One, if the RTX 5000 series cards are out. And two, if those, I think it's called CAM memory. If those become really usable on desktop boards, then I'll probably will do that. What do you think about getting a Chromebook for a home lab? You must be trolling, Chris. Yeah, no, I don't plan on getting Intel Cheeto. No, I have a Ryzen at RTX 3060 in this computer. And it's working fine, but the reason I want to put the 5000 series card in there is because, one, it will hopefully be a little bit more future-proof. It really depends on what the specs are when it comes out. If the 5000 series cards are not significantly more powerful than the 4000, then I'm just going to go to the 4000 card. Because even on the 4000 cards, you can do AV1 encoding on the card. And YouTube supports that, but Twitch doesn't yet. When Twitch supports it, they'll be able to cut the bandwidth for something like a 1080p stream in half. So that would be super awesome if I get that to work. I'm actually curious, not trolling. Dude, Chromebooks are trash, Chris. Chromebooks are basically glorified web browsers of a laptop. That's all they are. So you're not going to run anything on those. Yeah, Cheeto, that's what I heard, is that the 5000 series was going to be a big boost in it. That's what I do, Chris. Everybody gets, it's like Spider-Man. Everybody gets one. Let's see. There's scripting, there's message flow. I'm trying to think of anything else anyway. Okay, so what we need to do is go set up our own teensy-weensy somehow. Actually, if I think about it, let me think. We still got Wireshark open from last night. God, that was annoying. I think in PS exec, you can tell it what binary to run, if I remember correctly. Pass to the command to execute file alternative remcom binary. Be sure it doesn't require CRT. Now, actually, this is interesting because if we were going to use PS exec, we would need it to, if we're going to give it a certain binary to do, what we'd have to do is we'd have to make it a service binary. So this one we just did wouldn't quite work. Everybody gets one. Apparently, everybody gets one. It's kind of his thing. I've got caffeine. I started on this book, but I didn't really have a good testing machine, so I kind of stalled on it. But Azaria's blue book, I've got that one here too. Mostly for just interest. I don't know if I'm ever going to be. I don't know if I'm ever going to do more ARM stuff, but I really do like it. I've got the Turing Pi, which I still need to set up. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. I've got a little bit of bench time tomorrow because I finished my pen test. Let me think about this. File alternative remcom binary. Let me see if I can do this. In packet ps exec execute binary. I'm panic stricken about learning assembly. I've heard other seasoned pros tell me they're nervous about learning assembly. Dude, just take it one little chunk at a time, right? Basically, mostly you got to think about, hey, this is what. So assembly kind of works like this. And take in mind, this is I have not had a great deal of exposure to assembly either, but I actually did make a couple of kids from my church who were homeschooled, and their mom asked me to teach them the computer science. I made them start with assembly before we did C, right? I'm gonna wipe this out because I don't need it anymore. Okay. So assembly kind of works like this. You're gonna have typically like some instruction here, and then you're gonna have a list of arguments here, like arg1, arg2, arg3, and like for example, you might have a move command here, and then you might have like the source and the destination. It's very much just you have full control over the system, and you're not worried about like anything that's happening with. I mean, you have full control. Like, hey, here's exactly what's going into memory. Here's how it's being approached. Here's what you're doing with it. So, but really the thing is just understanding the syntax. You're going to have certain predefined buckets of places that you can put stuff on the CPU called your registers. And in fact, one of the guys that actually goes through this very well, he's over on YouTube, and actually he was live streaming on Twitch earlier, is Low Level Learning. Go check out his channel. He's got cool stuff on there. And so I would go check him out. I was trying to think if I could give a better explanation of assembly, but honestly, my assembly is so weak. I can kind of read it and get an idea of what it's doing, but I don't understand it well enough to explain it, unfortunately. Yeah, I just barely ever catch his streams, Caffeine. I saw him streaming earlier, but he started streaming about the time I went and passed out after I finished my report. So I watched his stream for all of 20 seconds, then I'm like, I gotta close my eyes. I know all these guys want to like go stream at the end of the workday. I'm like, it's like, thought you guys were hackers. Thought we're the night owls. Yeah, I think he's got a T-shirt that says everything's open source if you read assembly, which is actually technically not true because there are systems that will go through and they'll obfuscate the assembly, right? They'll do what are called equivalent groups. So say like let's say you've got a group of like 5 commands here. So let's say you've got like a move, you got to add, you got to jump, whatever. And let's say you got 2 more right here. What it will do is it will take this chunk and it will convert it into a different set of instructions. But when all those instructions finish executing, they basically become equivalent to one another. Yeah. And in fact, there's some malware that will do this too. And there's a tool I want to actually test out when we start working on trying to obfuscate some of these binaries that Mythic spits out. I've got it saved. I've got it saved on a list somewhere. I don't remember what the library is offhand. Let me go check this thing I was looking at for PS exec. I've got to figure out how to make a service binary. So in Mythic, there should be, probably under agents, there should be a wrapper. Let's go to repositories. Wrapper. Service wrapper, a .NET service executable wrapper for shellcode payloads. Let's go ahead and get that. So what we need to do is we got to go install this bad mamma jamma. Listen. Yes. Ah, there we go. Cool. No, that was not. Should be 2 maps attached. There we go. There we go. All right, so command we need, I think, is Mythic CLI install GitHub, and I think we just drop in the path to it. Yeah, there we go. I was just startled by another stream I had on. Too funny. Get down, Panda. Get down. Get down. Give me spaz. I know, I send mixed messages. I tell you to get down and then it picks you up. Get up. What's a good girl? What's your sweetie? You're like, you left me. You left me all day. I had to work. Ever used Rust Hound? No, that's like a Rust implementation of Bloodhound, isn't it? I think a buddy showed it to me, but I don't think I've ever used it. In fact, I know I've never used it. Yeah. Oh, it's a Rust version of Bloodhound.py. Gotcha. That's more the collection methods for like the ADCS stuff. Oh, sweet. No, and that was one of the things I had wanted to do with our Commando VM, obviously, but it shot itself, is have those kind of things in there where we could do that. And I don't know why the Commando VM, I don't know what the configuration changes I have to do to get it to enable remote desktop. Hang on one second. Freaking Panda digging in the trash. Trying to build it into Rust. Oh, so you're trying to build Rust Hound into my workflow, but I'm struggling with getting Docker to work for some reason. Is it? Are you running Bloodhound? Are you talking about the Bloodhound CE Docker, or are you talking about Rust Hound? Because you could run Rust Hound without Docker. I don't know how you feel about RISC-V, but EDX has a course on learning the ins and outs of the architecture. I think it's going to be interesting, and it probably will actually be kind of the way of the future, honestly. If you're running a remote payload type or C2 profile, they will need certain environment variables to properly connect to Mythic. Oh, I don't need that, I don't think. Alright, so let's do this. So now if we come back over to Galley, Look at the actions here. Can we send this to a wrapper? Let me see. So understanding the wrapper is something I'm not. Generate new wrapper page. Let's try this. So we do Windows, service wrapper. Yeah, we'll target .NET 4, 64-bit. Oh, you know what I think we need to do? I think we need to generate a payload binary first. So let's do this. Actions, new payload, Windows, and we'll do shellcode. We'll leave all the default commands for now, and we'll do HTTP these nuts. And this will be Apollo HTTP.shellcode. Or I'll just call it .bin. Then create payload. Process building. So many companies have used it in their machines, like some microcomputers, like those in the Raspberry Pi. Yeah. I can run it without Docker, but I'm trying to do it the Docker way, since I have a Docker file, but it's not building the way they said it to build it. I'm trying to reverse engineer what's going on. Lappin, shoot me a link to what you're looking at. Because I used to go build my own containers to do code builds, because it creates such a nice, clean build environment inside Docker. Right, so now that our shellcode payload's done right here, I think if we come here and we do generate new wrapper payload, Windows, service wrapper, no supported payload for that. Okay, do we need to go do .NET? Shit. Windows? .NET 3.5? Killing me, Smalls. All right, let me go see what they're talking about. You need the V2 branch for Bloodhound CE? Okay. So you're looking at using the Docker file, right? So use rusthound with Docker to make sure you have all the dependencies. So we're going to do Docker run. We're going to share the local. Oh, wait, no, this is it. This is the build. Excuse me. Jumping ahead of myself. Oh, so they're using the Docker file as the execution platform for it. I got you. Let me go look at the Docker file here. Docker file. Let's go see how it's actually set up. So, no, you're fine, man. So what's happening here is the Docker file is a predefined set of instructions that tells it, hey, here's how you build the Docker container, right? So it's going to set the working directory inside the container to user source rusthound. Then it's going to run an apt-get update, and then it's going to install all these libraries, GCC, CLang, all the stuff it needs to do the compilation. And then it's going to remove the app list. And it just does this. Typically, you'll see this a lot in Docker build containers to just keep the size of the Docker container down. Because the way this Docker stuff works is... Actually, this is really for building an image. This is not for building a container. And there's a difference. So when you run a Docker file, what it does is it builds an image. Think of this as just like a computer image like you would use to clone out to a bunch of desktops and stuff. And from images, you can make containers. And you can make multiple containers in here, right? So you could have, 20 copies of the same container doing different things in here. They all refer back to this one image, right? Bam. So what they're doing is when they remove this, they're just shrinking down the image so that way all the subsequent containers stay small. And then all it's doing is just running the make command inside here. Now, what's interesting here is inside this Docker file, how did they say to do the build on this? All right, I'm a little... Okay. I'm sure the guys that made this repository are very nice and very knowledgeable. But this is an idiotic way to do this. This is only really good, the way they're doing it, I'll explain it here in a second, if you're trying... This particular method right here is only good if you are making changes to the code and you want to rebuild it every single time. Let me look at the other instructions they've got here. So this is using cargo. This is the way I would actually recommend doing it, Laughing. Rather than trying to do the make file, is do it with cargo. Cargo is a specialized dependency manager for Rust. Golly. And so, what is happening here... Hold on. I gotta diagram this out, because now that I see what it's doing, it hurts my soul a little bit. I don't get why this design decision was made. I'd be very curious to know. And so what they're doing here... So what you're doing is, we're building the image first, right? So let's look at how this image works. We go... All right, so the image sets the working directory to user source Rust, right? So the working directory, user src Rust Hound. So that's going to be set. It's going to install a bunch of dependencies, right? So in the run command, it's going to install the build dependencies. And then now this entry point is the command it's going to use every time that container executes, the default right here. So notice how it's make in here. So the entry point is make. Now that might be kind of weird. It's like, okay, why would you do that? Because here's what's happening. When you run this, what it's going to do is it's going to build Rust Hound. It's going to build the container with the tag Rust Hound. That's what this is referencing right here. Okay, I get where they're going with this. What you're going to do here is then in this, I might have been too quick to judge. All right, I think I see where they're going with this. What's going to happen here is whenever you actually build this container, let's say you're in the source of the repository, right? You're going to share this local directory over to this directory in Rust Hound, the working directory we had. You're going to run container Rust Hound, which we just built up here, and then it's going to be the help. So what they've done is, okay, I see what they've done here. So as long as these make commands drop this into this folder where user source Rust Hound is, you're going to get the binaries out. So this is not, okay, I see what's happening. Okay. I retract my previous statement. I got ahead of myself. It happens. Typically what I would have done is I probably would have automated this a bit where Windows and Linux and Mac OS were just built on there and then have had a command to copy that out, but it's fine. This is actually not a bad way to do this. So what's happening here is then whenever you actually create the container, right? It's going to pass, so we're going to have a volume here. It's going to pass the local directory over to this directory right here. So user, source, rusthound. And when it does that, it's passing all these arguments you send, help, Windows, Linux, Mac OS. It's actually passing those not to rusthound, it's passing them to the make command here. So what it's going to do is, if, for example, if you were to run this command right here, you're going to get the build for rusthound Windows out of this. That's what it's doing. Yeah, let me see if I have Kali set up on this Docker, on this system real fast. Oops. Let's see. I have Docker set up? I do not. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do sudo apt install. We'll just use docker.io. It's an older version of Docker, but it has a 99% chance of working. So install this. Let me go grab the repository here. Do is copy that. We'll let this install real quick. And then what we'll do is we'll do a make dir. We'll call this. Actually, I'm just gonna clone it right here. So git clone. I'm gonna paste selection. So we're gonna clone down rusthound. I'm gonna cd into that directory that we just cloned out. And then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this command first. The build command. So what this is saying is... What the hell? Okay. So what this is saying is we're going to run a build, and then we're going to just delete the build, pretty much. Or delete the associated container, I believe. I'm not sure actually where... I don't know if this should be in here. I don't know if that's valid for the build command. But tact rusthound says, hey... build me a container, tag it with the name rusthound, and there's an apply tag of latest, don't worry about it, and use the Docker file that's in our current directory. Let me see something real quick. Docker build ph. Let me see something. Do I see a tac rm? Oh, okay, so tac rm says remove intermediate containers after a successful build. Okay, so again, they're just doing it to reclaim extra size on the disk, because when it builds it, every time that Docker file runs, it's an intermediate container, and then it basically just tracks the deltas until you get to the final container. So we run this right here, and I don't know if it's gonna work because I might need to be sudo. Yeah, that's what I thought. Go. So what it's going to do is it's going to extract. It's going to download. It's going to download the base image that we need here. Creating packing list. It's doing all the subsequent installs that need to be done right now. I had just never seen tac rm used for the build side of things. I've seen it used when I execute containers, because a lot of times what I would do is I will just build the image of the container, and then whenever I run it, I had little bash scripts set up to automatically handle all the variables. And when I ran that, it would create the container, run everything. I had folders shared out to get the output off the container, and then it would destroy the container. So I didn't have like tons of containers just sitting there taking up memory. Side question: which is better to invest in Hack the Box or Try Hack Me for pen testing certs? Well, Caffeine says Hack the Box. Yeah, Hack the Box I believe is a little bit more advanced, but Try Hack Me is a little bit more guided. So it kind of just depends on which path you're kind of taking for it. All right, so so that part is done right here. So let's say, for example, I want to run this one right here. So I want to see what are the help options for the make command. Do sudo. That's not what I wanted. So what's happening here is I'm in rusthound, right? So I'm sharing the source code to this over to user source rusthound, which is our working directory. So as soon as we load the container, it's going to run make inside this directory, inside the container. I thought that wasn't correct. That's the error I'm running to. Okay, it's because of this right here. It usually expects like a fully qualified path, right? That's what we're looking for right there. Actually, I think is that. I think that will work. What about capital PWD? Okay, so instead, what we need to do is this dot forward slash. This is one of the things that was also throwing me off. I get where they were going with this. But instead, what we need to do is $capital PWD tells it the present working directory. That's what I want to bind to the containers user source rusthound. Right here. And you see now what we get is we get a list of all the help commands for this tool. So what we can do now is we want to build it for Linux. We just give it the Linux keyword in here. So actually, before I do that, these are the files that we've got. I'm going to now do a build for Linux. What do you mean there's nothing for Linux? Oh, you got to tell it Linux x86 64. That's what it is. Underscore x86 underscore x64. Killing me, Smalls. Did I have a typo in it? Oh, because there's not an X right there. 6-4. There.
Caution. A virus.
Damn it, Tyler beat me to it.
Hack_smarter virus detected in the network.
I successfully hacked him the last 2 nights in a row, but he beat me to it. Welcome, Raiders. Hold on. I have to deploy the Cookie Monster virus to slow them down. So, what's up, dude? Actually, I was really surprised. I saw you online. I thought about popping into your chat, trying to think of a way to troll you. I was like, no, he's trying to squeeze in streams before he's got to go off the grid at DEF CON. I'm not going to bust him. Faster, not gooder. Oh god, the dial tones. Oh god. Luxy, Thunder Egg Dragon Thing, John Lara, and Cujo, thanks for coming online. Welcome. Well, actually, really, that dial tone though gives me lots of member berries from when I was a kid. I remember my dad yelling at me because I would go spend like an hour on CompuServe, and it was like $3 an hour or something like that whenever you do that. So I'd go spend like an hour a day. So my dad was getting like a $90 bill every month for me being on CompuServe. Way back in the day, right? All right, let's see here. There we go. So now we've got a target folder. See that, Laughing? So if we CD over into the target folder, bam, there's our x86 build right there. So we were taking a little side quest, everyone just coming in, looking at how to build Rusthound in here and explaining how the Docker build process works. At first I was trashing it because I thought this was dumb. Then I realized the way they did it actually was pretty slick. It's not so bad. There is a typo here though. This does not work. This ./ is not usually recognized by Docker, at least not by Docker IO. Maybe in Docker CE it is. They're just different, slightly different branches of Docker. One's an older version, essentially. That's all it is. And so what we're looking at here is the command you actually need to run, laughing, is this one. You got to substitute dollar capitals PWD instead of that ./. So this is like Bloodhound Python ingester, but written in Rust, Cujo. So, okay, cool. So we got this going on right now. Yeah, so that's how you're going to build this. So that there is a little bit of an error in their documentation here. This should be $PWD right here. In fact, let's go submit a PR real quick. Let me go double check the commands we actually had to do to make this work, just so I make sure I'm not forgetting something. So the build command was good, but the actual command we had to run was $PWD. So I'm gonna go send them a quick pull request. Hack the planet. I'm gonna fork it. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down to the Docker build instructions here. This needs to be changed to $PWD. And commit change, explain change, changing docs as ./. Now, come on. Canceled it. I can't type either. Adjusting Docker build command since ./ is not supported syntax. And must reference the, I think it's the full path to share. I believe that's correct. Proposed change. Worst thing that's going to happen is they're going to prove me wrong and tell me I'm an idiot. And then we'll create a pull request. Create pull request. Hey, have a good night, Chris. If you have questions on the JavaScript stuff, Chris, feel free to ask me, because sadly JavaScript is the language I have the most experience by hours with, unfortunately. All right, cool. I'm gonna close that out now. So, Laughing, did those build steps make sense now for actually what the build process is doing? Okay, cool, man. Yeah, so what should happen is after you get that successful build process right here, bam, you'll have a target folder and you'll have all your various ones built in there. So when you run that help command, it's so much farther back. Screw it, I'm just gonna run it again. So when you run that build command, what's gonna happen is you're gonna see all this output up here, and it's gonna tell you these are the different options you've got. You could do an install. Don't do an install because it's not going to change anything because you're doing a Docker build of it. But these ones right here, these static builds, Windows 64, x86, Linux, whatever. These are the ones you're going to use right here. Let's see, TechV, dollar. Actually, I didn't even do the curly brackets. It was just $PWD in here for the build command. Oh no, sorry, it was for the make. Yep, what is it? Linux. Here we go. So in Linux, at least, like if you're doing this on Kali, $PWD, that will give you the full path to your local folder, and that's what it's expecting. So for example, if I take this, and I just echo this command instead, what it's doing is just doing that variable replace. It's going to put it in wherever we copied that directory. So make sure you're in the repository folder whenever you build. You'll be good. Let's see. All right, so now let's pop back over to Mythic. Let me see here. So I know there's a way that we should be able to take this and send it to a wrapper and have it generate something for us. Just trying to understand the build process there. Laughing, all you have to do is if you want to start over, you just go delete the image. It's like docker image rm and then tell it rusthound. That will delete the build image. And then you can go do the docker build command again to rebuild that that build image. And then you can do the actual build commands in there. Let's see. Let me try this again. So if I generate a new wrapper payload, targeting Windows, any CPU, no supported payload for that wrapper. Dude, maybe there's something listed over in the Mythic C2 matrix. Agents. Or actually, hold on. Before I go too far, let's go look in the actual container, or the system here. That's not good. So if we go back to Mythic Agents, we look at the Agent Capabilities matrix. So here's our service wrapper. Operating systems, Windows. That's so weird. Hey, no problem, dude. Yeah, but I need to go, dang it, I've been meaning to go through and set up a system that, and this is probably something I'll honestly do over in StreamerBot here, because what I was thinking about doing was setting up a script to have Mythic or have StreamerBot come through and grab the video after it's posted, and then, actually, I need to do it a different way, because I record all this stuff onto a local disk. If I record that I've got it recorded onto a local disk, I should be able to then go strip out the audio and then have an audio transcriber run. And what I wanted to do then was actually have some of these large language models, like something like Fabric, take that text file, pipe it over, and extract chapters so that I could go put chapters in all the old videos. All right, let me go look at something. I'm trying to see. God, Panda, you're hot. Get off me. So I have my little chair here. I call this my Captain Morgan chair or Commander Riker chair, depending on your flavor. And typically, I'm standing on one leg, and I've got one leg up on the chair. Ow! And I just kicked it. And Panda likes to come up and snuggle under my leg, and she's just a freaking radiator right now. Get down, Panda. You're too damn hot. Get off me. Kill. Alright, let me see here. Operational pieces. What do we have here? Files. Let's go look at files. All uploads and downloads for an operation can be tracked by the clip icon. How does it work? So if you want to download multiple files at once, in the download section, click the toggle and then zip and download. Okay, cool. Additional info. Each file has additional info such as a SHA-1 and MD5 of each file that can be viewed by clicking the info. Okay. That's not what I want, though. What I want to know... Payload types. Here we go. Containers? Alright, so payload types are different kinds of agents that can be created or used within Mythic. Where are they located? The documentation container contains detailed information about the commands for OPSEC. All right, so maybe there is something we need to go look at in the built-in documentation here for this guy. Import payload config, show deleted payloads. I don't get it, man. Let me try something else. Let's do generate new payload. We're going to do this as Windows. Maybe this one doesn't work because it is a .NET payload. Let me try something. I'm going to try a Merlin executable. Next, we'll do the HTTP these nuts profile. Okay, create wrapper. Service wrapper. Target .NET Framework 4. Target architecture 64. So for some reason it says no supported payload for that wrapper. Get it. All right, Caffeine, have a good night, dude. All right. I'll tell you what, I need to run to the bathroom real quick. So everyone, go grab a stretch. I'm gonna run the ads real fast, so that way we don't have to deal with them for a little bit. And then I'm gonna go run to the bathroom. So I'll be right back. I'm back. What song was... I wish I knew what song was playing, Cheeto, whenever you sent that. I actually like this playlist a lot because it doesn't overpower what we're doing. It's very nice background music. Let's see. So I don't get why... So what we're trying to do is we're trying to make a service executable wrapper. I don't get why it's not working. And the reason I want to do that is because I wanted to try and execute it with PS exec. Let's go see if anybody else has come across this. Let's try basic service wrapper example. Was the Docker file just to build Rusthound and then you run it from your host OS? I thought it was to run a container that you run Rusthound yourself. Kind of. So the container was just actually building the make environment. It was just building the build tools. And so if we change this here, right? So this was not correct. This would be $pwd colon this. Then whenever you run the container, you do docker run. Dude, Franklin, drop in 5 gifted subs. Thanks, man. We have 5 new agents on board. God, I really got to fix up the freaking alerts, man, because I had cooler ideas for alerts than the built-in default Twitch ones. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Shit, I totally lost my train of thought. Okay, so what's happening here, Cheeto laughing. When you build this image, all this is doing is just building the make environment, the build environment. So when you run the container and you pass in the present working directory, which is the Rusthound GitHub code, right? Over here to user source Rusthound, what it's doing is then just passing in all the source code for the make command inside the container to execute. Well, it builds inside user source Rusthound targets, right? That gets copied down to your local machine. So it does build the binary in the container, but that folder that it builds it in is shared to your host. So that's how you get the copies of the builds out. So I shat on it at first, then I finally understand their brilliance, which happens to me more frequently than I'd like to admit. And now again, okay, this actually is not a bad way to do this. Gerby, weren't you just over on YouTube? I moved over, okay. I was like, wait, there's 2 Gerbys. That's one more Gerby than I'm prepared to handle at this moment. Yeah, Docker, if by the way, guys, if y'all have not messed with Docker and gotten to dig into it, it is such a really cool tool. And again, maybe I'm just a Luddite and a hacker at heart. Very conflicting, right? I shot on the idea of Docker for a long time. And then as I started using it a little bit more and more, and I found some valid use cases for it, then I started liking it. And now I do a shit ton of stuff in Docker. Why'd you lock on me? Crap. That's more confusing than I thought it would be. I thought it would be parallel to the Bloodhound Python experience, which is run an actual collector from the container. Yeah. Well, that's because you got to think the Bloodhound Python tool is being run in a Python environment. So you have to maintain that entire environment. And you do that inside the container. For this case, since you're doing Rust and it's building a standalone, looks like it's a statically linked binary, you can just do the make step inside there and copy it out. And actually, I really like the way they did this because the other variations of this I had seen is you would do you would copy the source code into the container, you do the entire build process, and then you would have to actually go like generate a container and copy the binary out and then delete the container. This is actually a much more succinct approach to it. So actually, now that I understand it, I like it. I don't get look at this again. Let me go read this a little bit more. All right, so the service wrapper payload is a special payload. It's a .NET 3.5 or 4 service executable that acts as a wrapper around another agent. So as such, this payload type has no commands and supports no C2 profiles. It simply acts as a way to turn arbitrary other agents into proprietary formatted Windows service executables. This payload type is for Mythic 2.2.7 and reports version 8. It's not compatible with Mythic 2.1. Maybe there's an error in this. Maybe because now Mythic 3.2 is the current version, or maybe it's not working as well. I do know that it's a feature said it's currently considered 3.2 is considered a beta release because he made a lot of backend changes, didn't know if it was going to mess with something. Perhaps that's the case here. I don't know. Yeah, this guy right here. It's a feature. Let me go try something else real quick. Let's go back over to Mythic Agents. Let's go download the Scarecrow one real quick. Let's see. Repos. Wrapper. Let's get the Scarecrow wrapper for a quick example here. I'm curious. Let's go install this one and just for comparison's sake, let's go install it over into Le Mythic. So we do Mythic CLI. By the way, everyone, if you're wondering why I'm running just the straight up Mythic CLI command, it's because we have an alias in here for that. So we made an alias for Mythic CLI to automatically run sudo and then to run explicitly that binary. So that's how I'm getting away. So we do Mythic CLI install GitHub. Ah, damn it. I highlighted that and it copied it. Copy. Pasta. There we go. So actually, I got myself into trouble laughing by messing with Mythic's Docker containers before I really understood kind of what the execution flow was. And I broke a lot of stuff. Because I was like popping into the containers and tinkering with them, and like I just jacked its world all up. All right. We'll let this run for a few minutes, y'all. Hopefully not too long. I have thought about if I could get the time to develop it, doing a video series on like interesting tech topics for hackers, right? So maybe doing like networking for hackers, doing something like Docker for hackers, right? It'd probably take me a while because I need to find someone to do video editing because honestly, I really suck at it and it's so time intensive, and time is the one limiting factor I've got these days. So that's installed now. So let's pop back over into Mythic. Do Grey Hat Vim. Let's see. What if we do new wrapper payload for Windows? So we got a Scarecrow wrapper here. I'm gonna leave a bunch of these as default for now. I just want to see what happens. A lot of my my buddies that use Mythic tell me that if they're gonna use Scarecrow, which doesn't quite work so hot anymore, it's been fingerprinted a lot, that what they'll do is they'll actually just use Scarecrow itself. They won't use the wrapper payload in here. So the loader says the type of process that will sideload the malicious payload. Note, binary control and DLL loaders require shellcode as the input, while XL, MSISEC, and WScript loaders require a PE file. Got it. I guess control? That's so weird. No supported payload for this wrapper. Okay, so let's go find a different way to turn this. Let's do create Windows service binary from shell. There you go. This guy's got one. Hollow SVC. When was this last updated? Last year? It's fairly recent. Windows. This is a Windows service that utilizes the process hollowing technique to run shellcode. It requires rot encrypted shellcode that the user will create using the HoloCrypt program. I created this because there were moments where I needed a custom and straightforward way to run Metasploit shellcode on a Windows service for persistence and privilege escalation. All right. Okay, so first we need to create our shellcode. But he's doing this, he's created it in C#. I want to go try that. I want to go try running this command real fast. I just want to see what the payload output is. I'm gonna let this one run real quick here. Just gonna do a quick MS venom because I want to see, like, is this is obviously probably just gonna dump it out as C# shellcode here. So all it is just doing a byte array. Okay. Then edit the HoloScript source code, compile, and execute. All right, now this seems like a really cool idea. However, it's a bit more involved than I would. I like the idea, but I want something a little bit hacker cool magazine. Let's see, C# service shellcode run. So this is a Windows service assembly to inject shellcode into local process without using RWX permissions. Posting here so I don't lose the code. That's very old, 5 years ago. Damn. Let's see, basic Windows shellcoding, creating shellcode. Let's see. I'm trying to think how to do this because for some reason, I don't get why. This might just be something I need to go hit up Mr. Feature with. Because he's super... by the way, there's a whole... there's the whole Bloodhound... not Discord. Slack channel. There's a Bloodhound Slack channel, and they talk about a lot of offensive security stuff. It's a little bit more tight-knit group because Slack is not as popular as, say, Discord. It's not quite as easily accessible. It's kind of funny, when Discord came out, Slack kind of fell off. A lot of people had like private Slack servers that they were setting up. So I don't get why this is not working. Choose .NET Framework 4.0 architecture. Let's go check something real quick. Maybe a different payload type will work for this. Maybe like Athena will work for something. Let's go see. So if we look at our Mythic agents, let's look at the compatible. That's the community over here. Hey, didn't see it, dude. I have been laughing, turned me on to Ludus, and we were kind of hacking around with it for a couple weeks, and now that I've got the hang of it, I have really been enjoying it. I feel like Slack is for work and Discord's for other stuff. True. Let's see. Let's see. Mythic C2 targeting Linux and Windows hosts written in Rust. Apollo is a .NET Framework 4.0 agent. Yeah, so Apollo should work with the service wrapper. Bloodhound agent for Lemethic. Interesting. Hermes, that's for Mac OS. Yeah, so I don't get why this one's not working. You know what, let's do? Let's go hop into... Oh, shit, I closed it. Let's go back over into Apollo real fast. Let's see if there's an open issue for this. Error installing AR64, support DNS profiles, DC sync broken, domain fronting support, keylogs, request headers out of order. Slack doesn't feel like work. We should just move back to BBS's. Right? I was in that weird time of the internet, kind of like post BBS, but before like the broader internet. So like I said, the first system I remember like getting onto the internet with was CompuServe. See, there's a pull request in here. DNS profile for Apollo v2. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. That's for shit. That's from 2021. Damn. Oh. I thought that might be a fun project for us to work on here. Is create a work on like a C2 profile, a C2 DNS profile for Mythic, because there currently isn't one, and because it's going to require some backend changes as well. Not trying to flex on Jack, but I did a beta test of NetZero. Damn. You can find me on AOL. I got a free disc in the mail, right? Twitch is technically IRC in the backend. Yes. Which, if you think about it, it's not a bad idea. It's a text-only protocol, and then you just dress it up in the web interface. All right, so for some reason, I don't get why Apollo is not mixing with the service wrapper. Let's go take a look at agents. Let's go look in the service wrapper. Maybe someone put a issue in there. Let's see. I've been wondering when should you or a user do this property add agent to their Mythic instance? There's no wrong answer here. Just based on your preference, you have three options. Mythic's already up and going. You can just run the install script and just direct the agent's containers to start. Mythic's already up and going. You want to minimize your steps. You can just install the agent and run. So you start it. So let's try that. Let's go try restarting Mythic real quick. Maybe that will fix something in the backend that I'm not aware of. Let's see. So let's go back over. Meow. Let's do our Mythic CLI stop. And then once that's done, we'll just run the start. Give this a little bit of a, needs a 10-second count. Okay, cool. So that should be up and running now. So if we go back over to Kali, we refresh this. Do we need to log back in? No, we don't. Okay. So let's look over here. Let's see, actions, rename, edit, stop alerting new callbacks, trigger a new build, export payload config, generate redirect rules, check agent configuration. Simple. Okay, let's just try doing a new wrapper payload. Oh, Jono, thanks for coming online, man. Welcome. Come in. All right, we don't want to do Scarecrow. We want to do the service wrapper. Should be 64. I'm going to try any CPU. See what happens. And now it showed up. And Niddens, thanks for coming online, man. All right, hold on. I want to check something real quick. So it looks like maybe restarting it did fix it. I'm going to change this back to 64. Okay, so for some reason it looks like we had maybe the service wrapper containers didn't start yet, and maybe this is a case where we should have RTFM'd. And by we, I mean me. That's just, the royal we, because I'm an idiot. I have the smoothest of brains, like a cue ball. All right, so if Mythic's already up and going, but you want to minimize your steps, you can just install the agent and run. The script will first stop all your containers, then start everything up again. Okay. Oh, so what we should have run is we should have done Mythic CLI payload start service underscore wrapper. That's what it should have been. There's a PR for a rust hound? Is that the one I just submitted? Oh, no. Oh, this is for the cargo build. I mean, dude, the build just worked as we were doing it. Let me go try running that binary we just dumped out. Just for shits and giggles. CD, Rust Hound, target, base? Nope. Maybe I didn't need to go into it. What am I looking at here? Maybe. Build dependencies, examples, incremental. Oh, the build did fail? Okay. So the build process probably is jacked up. That explains it. Okay. Well, the Docker part still works, but looks like the build failed. That would explain why I'm like, why am I not seeing it here? I looked too quickly. I assumed too much. Yeah, the Docker part wasn't the issue, it was everything else. Dan, thanks for coming online, man. Welcome. Okay, so now that the Mythic wrapper is working, let's go see if we can do this. Let's do this one. Service wrapper. We're gonna call this Apollo. HTTP. svc.exe. Great wrapper payload. Docker remains unassailable. Okay, so it says the agent's ready for download here. Let me copy that link. I'm curious. I'm just curious, like, can I download this, like, unsecure? I'm going to CD over to downloads real quick. I'm going to run this curl command. What we're going to do tech output. What do we call this? We call this Apollo HTTP service.txt. Okay, cool. So actually, this is probably not intended, but if we wanted to download it directly, we could do it that way. Is doing the Google cybersecurity cert, then going to do the Sec Plus a good way to get into the field as a complete novice? They're a good way to start trying to get your foot in the door. Honestly, if like you're a complete novice and you really want to start like getting experience, trying to get onto something like a help desk is a great way to start doing that. It also depends on like which area you're wanting to go in. If you're wanting to go into more blue team, which is defending networks and learning how the attacks work so you can defend, or if you want to go into more red team, which is learning how to do the attacks and carry them out, but also avoid the blue team. So it's basically just two sides of the same coin. It just kind of depends on which path you want to go for them. Having something like some help desk experience and seeing real world things get screwed up and present problems that you have to troubleshoot and struggle with is a great way to learn. Don't get me wrong. I'd say I haven't checked out the Google cybersecurity cert. Sec Plus is recognized by a lot of it's like one of the DoD recognized certifications. So you can get into other certain, sometimes a lot of jobs, like if they're government based, they'll require that. So it's not a bad way to do it. So which direction are you wanting to go, Jono? Like where do you see yourself, like you want to try to be it in like 5 years? And then I can provide you a little bit more guidance on that. I love this soundtrack. Well, cool. Actually, so now that we've got the service executable here, we could try running that with our PS exec. Let's go try that. I don't remember where we had it, though. That was our NTLM relay. Let me rename this one. Rename. Window. NTLM. Relay. And then this one. Yes, exactly. We'll just call it that for a second. Going the ethical hacker route. Okay. Another good one that you can go through is look at Try Hack Me and Hack the Box. Try Hack Me would be better if you're very new, because that is a little bit more, it's a lot more guided and hand-holding. Hack the Box is a lot more, figure it out yourself. But they both have their benefits to them. I have not looked at the Hack the Box Academy. We were going through some of the like early Try Hack Me stuff with my buddy Salty on stream, but we had to kind of put those on hiatus for a while. So I did like the Try Hack Me stuff. I thought it wasn't bad, especially like from a very beginner perspective. The main thing to remember though, you're going to get out of any course material as much as you put in. So, for example, if you see something that's interesting, don't put it on the back burner because you think, okay, well, I don't want to get distracted from the course material. It is. No, feel free to go off on what I call side quests. Like, hey, what is going on here? And then go dig into it a little bit. On the stream, I did that a ton, going through a little bit more advanced certification called the Red Team Ops course. And we spent probably 300 hours going through the lab material there. I bought so many extensions. I'm pretty sure I financed one of Rostamouse's Lambos. The Academy's fairly good. It's a massive money sink, though. Oh, okay. I haven't looked at the price for the Academy. And so, Try Hack Me is not very expensive. It's $20 a month. So, pretty affordable. More likely you finance one singular CS license. I have no idea what kind of deal he's got for them for this Cobalt Strike licenses. The only thing I know about that is that's why the lab is isolated, laughing, because that was the one ask from Fortra, was allowing no uploads and downloads, no VPN access. Hey, no problem, dude. Dude, this is a total, like, learning stream. I'm sitting here, I'm doing stuff that I want to learn, and I'm explaining it so that folks can get exposure to more advanced topics. But also, I like folks coming in and asking questions so I can try and not speed run them through things, but give them an idea like, hey, this is kind of a little bit more efficient path. Here's some shit I've learned the hard way through life. Eventually, you get your head knocked a few times. You try to tell people, hey, maybe when this happens, you dodge instead of duck, you know. Let's see. So what we should be able to do here is, and our PS exec command. Where the heck was that? And then our command to run, if we want to run a particular command file. Alternative remcomp binary that doesn't support CRT. That's right, we were looking at this, because I know there's a way, I think, to get PS exec to run an arbitrary service binary. I think I've seen it. This is having run command. There's also sharp lateral. Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me, Smalls. So I think one of the better options might be is to do this. Let's pop back over here. Let's make a directory and we'll call it our web root. We're gonna copy from downloads.
Welcome, agent.
Hey, Dan, thanks for the sub, bro. Appreciate it. I need to turn that alert up. There's so much like care and feeding I need to do on the stream because I've got shit half migrated from from Twitch alerts over to streamer bot. I need to finish that migration because then I'll have a lot more control over it. A download Apollo or copy that to web root. Let's just move that over there. So we'll move that over to our web root. We're going to CD over to it. And then, what is that command? I think it's Python. I think is it simple.http? Is that what they changed it to? Maybe it's just HTTP. Crap, I can't remember what it was. Maybe it's simple HTTP. Or HTTP.server. Shit, I don't remember. Python 3 simple server. Oh, it is just HTTP.server. Why didn't that work? Oh, because I didn't do .server. I just did HTTP. There we go. And I believe what we can do is we can tell that I think attack port 80. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, man. Dude, yeah, I know. Dang, I need to go find a video we did on the stream from a couple weeks ago before I went on vacation. And it was us ripping into an article titled "Cybersecurity is Full." And here's all the reasons why you shouldn't get into cybersecurity. And the guy did make some good points, but all in all, it was kind of like presenting diamonds inside of a turd sandwich. All right, let me go grab something from my notes real quick here. I'm locked out, you bastard. It's because I know, because I was using the free trial. I'm like, I don't want to do the freaking unfree trial. You suck. Hang on one second. Let me pop into OPSEC mode and see if I can fix this real quick. I don't want to lock out. Jeez. Oh wait, I know why it's doing that. Okay. Well, fine, screw you. I'm just gonna do it from a different window. Bastard. The problem is the notebooks are on my personal Gitbook. Yeah. All right, let me check something real quick here. Give me 1 sec, guys. I'm trying to find a particular command I had used. It's not showing up in here. Yeah, no kidding. And a lot of people are like, "Oh, AI is gonna take over it." Do you know how much shitty code AI is putting out right now? Here's what's happening with that. A lot of people don't realize this. This is an Ouroboros of shit. Is what's happening. Right? Yeah, no kidding. So here's what's happening, right? Someone asked a question somewhere online. Let's say on Stack Overflow. From there, people vote on the correct answer. God, I cannot write today. Answer, right? All this data, these pairs of data, right, get fed down into a large language model. And then it tries to approximate how to put this shit back out. So then what it does is people ask it for code. Get shit code. And then this ends up back up on Stack Overflow. And it just makes it so that you've got turds being recycled into turds. Oh, hang on 1 sec, guys. Be right back. All right, I'm back. Oh, Evil Blaze. Get out of here, Evil Blaze. All right, sorry about that. Rusthound collection is fast. That's awesome. As often as I'm getting internal access into my clients, we need more people who know what the hell they're doing. Yeah, exactly. Dude, and I actually tell folks that, don't feel like you need to go into offensive security to make like a meaningful contribution to security. I love my blue teamers. I love my GRC folks because they're doing the job I don't personally want to do. And so I want them to be enabled. So I whenever I go do a penetration test, I try to make sure that the folks that are working on the blue side of the companies that I'm hacking into feel like, hey, I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you find the blind spots and make sure the bad people stay out of your shit. That's what I'm doing. I try to frame it as much as hey, this is what I did. Here's what was great. Here's where you messed up. And they need that feedback usually in the form of a report, or you hope maybe you've got like some kind of active chat channel with them, and you tell them this stuff so that way they can get feedback. These people live and work off of feedback. And so if they're not getting any feedback and they're just shadowboxing the whole time, they're going to be completely unprepared for whenever they get into a real fight and somebody punches them in the mouth. Tyson said everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. I have done phishing before, yes. It is a painful endeavor because it requires so many facets to put together. I can do phishing. I'm okay at setting up phishing campaigns, but honestly, I don't begrudge anybody who wants to specialize in just phishing because it covers so many different areas. Yeah, I was using Evil Jinx, but also I was using a combination of Evil Jinx with a browser in the browser style setup. So what happens here is I had my server set up, and on this server I had Apache also set up. So an Apache server that was serving up a web page with a browser in the browser setup. And then down here, I had Evil Jinx running. And what was happening was this was being served up in the browser, so that way the user never really talked directly to Evil Jinx. It was all handled over the server. And so when I did this, I actually got a lot of bypasses with Evil Jinx. It wasn't being detected. However, you still have other considerations, like what happened here was this was deployed in AWS California. The client I was testing was here in Texas, right? So instantly got a geo block from all those. Geo block. So as soon as users went through and they completed the login process, I got their usernames and I got their passwords, but I never got the session tokens that I wanted because it instantly blocked out their accounts. And actually, the client I was working with is really cool. I've worked with them in the past. And he thought it was great because he's like, hey, cool. I don't have to wait for your report. I can just see who got locked out from this geo block and know instantly they need more phishing training. So it was actually one of my 4 favorite clients. And actually, I was doing it with GoFish too. So. Yeah, the one I was using, Tristana, was a variation of Mr. Dox's browser in the browser another guy had made. And he's actually working on a way to try and maybe sell it as an enhancement kit to Evil Jinx Pro. So he and I talked at length for a while. And yeah, Laughin said, phishing isn't even fun if you're a white hat. It's just setting up infrastructure and crafting emails and then it results into a spreadsheet of who clicked your stuff. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can go more into that. So, I'm working very hard on shifting away from penetration testing into red teaming. And in the red teaming, then you actually do need to have crafted payloads that can get past EDR and get picked up and hopefully give you your initial access vector. Yeah, and trying to get around so actually what I do, Tristana, is I have everybody at my company knows when they get a phishing email, they forward it to my help desk and they forward it to me. Because what I do then is I go dissect the phishing email and that's how I find open redirects that I can go use. So it gets past a lot of the, trusted domain checks because now I've got an open redirect. That's how I got one in Google. That's how I got one in Adobe. That's how I got one in DocuSign. Yeah. So an open redirects, for anybody who doesn't know, what these are is it's a URL that when it gets processed by the server, we'll usually do something like a 302 redirect. And that will send the user to maybe your phishing site. Or some other place here, right? So what happens is the URL in the email here looks legit. It's coming from a known good, trusted domain. So yeah, I've just had a minor collection of them. I got to go find out where I put that list. But at one point, I had one for Adobe's domain. I had one for Google, and I had one for DocuSign. And what I would do is I would just go collect the phishing emails that were going out in the wild and be like, oh, cool. So that's how they're doing this. Awesome. I'd go tinker with them. I'd test them, figure out what the parameters were, and then bam. And what's funny is about the time I started really collecting these, that's when my requests for phishing campaigns just went just down. And you can do it that way too, Tristan. So there's another site that you could do. And I mean, they're getting more wise to this, but it's it's by expired domains. Yeah, expireddomains.net. And you can come in and you can search by what TLD you want. So let's see. Let's try .biz. Let me zoom in on this real quick. So there's a bunch of domains in here. So this one was just dropped today at 3:30. It's available. I think this one's maybe been in use. I don't know what ABY is. What's ABY? Does it tell me? First seen in 2013. Here's some that are pending, new in the last 24 hours. And so you can come in here and you can find domains that you could potentially go buy that are old and they've already been categorized and stuff like that. Now, one of the hard parts is checking, hey, do I have a domain that's set up that I didn't have to go create like basically a benign page. So that way, and then find some kind of rule that whenever a defender is scanning my site, they get redirected to the benign page. But whenever a client with like a target with a phishing link hits my page, they get redirected to another. And then you've got to combine those two, because what if the scanner, which it often does, is using the phishing link? Well, then you can't just trust the phishing link. You've then got to parse it like, okay, it is a valid phishing link, but is this an automated scanner check in there? It gets super complex. And like Laffin was saying, it's just essentially setting up a lot of infrastructure every time. Let's see. Okay, so we got our web route set up. I need to do something here. That's right. I've been what I was doing before now. PowerShell. PowerShell download file from URL. I don't know what the hell that command was. Okay, so it's just invoke web request this. So one thing we could do is we come back over to I think we could tell the command, maybe we could tell it PowerShell.exe. We'll try that. Hey, there we go. I feel like scanners browsing your phishing links are just unavoidable. Those scanners mimic a real person really well. So sometimes they do. One thing you can do with them sometimes though is what's his name? Kuba, the guy who wrote Evil Jinx, he's put out some really interesting research on using like JA4 Plus to fingerprint the scanners, and then you can kind of get an idea of where they're going. Sometimes a lot of times they're just running like headless Chrome to go investigate the site and grab a screenshot. So one trick you can do, Tristana, is I put in JavaScript that says basically don't render the page until a mouse move event happens. Because there's no mouse move event, the page is headless, right? So that's one trick. Another one is if you identify that, hey, it's got a certain fingerprint, then you redirect it to a different page. Got it back to studying. Hey, no problem, Jono. Dude, stop in whenever you can, man. I'm glad whenever folks will pop in, and feel free to ask questions. I know people have life. It's what happens. Oh shit, I just realized what time it is. It's after 11. All right, I want to see if I can get my callback on this initial server here. And then if we get the callback, that's probably what we'll call it for tonight. And then we'll start digging into, hey, what can we do with the agent in Windows? I want to see like, hey, I want to do certain tasks that we did with Cobalt Strike. How do I do those in Mythic? What's the conversion? God, I love the dial-up sound. Tristana and Dan, thanks for coming online. Let's see here. Okay, so now what we can do is we can do a invoke web request, and then our URL is going to be HTTP. We'll just use our IP address 10.4.10.99, and then yeah, what was the file name? I think it's this one. We can rename this. Rename window HTTP server. What we'll do is we'll CD over to the web root, and then I need this file. So copy that. Paste this in. And then what was there was one more command we needed. Oh, out file. Tech out file. Tech out file. We'll just call this Apollo. It's 1P. Apollo.exe. In fact, now that I think about it, this is not the way I wanted to do this. That Apollo.exe is a service executable, so that's not what I want to do. What I want to do is this. Let's go back over here. Let's go to our payloads. Ah, damn it. If you didn't see, Bloodhound CE now has dark mode and its early access features. My retinas are saved. Praise the not sun. Let me download this one. And then let's go move that over to our web root. So let's move from downloads, Apollo to web root. All right, and then we need to go adjust this guy. Oh shit, I forgot. This is a really dumb terminal. So Apollo.exe, tag out file, Apollo http.exe. Wait, what is this? Invoke web request. The server committed a protocol violation. What? I'd never seen that before, actually. Let me try to restart the server. And then what we'll do is we'll hop back over here. I thought I renamed this one. Rename window PSXO. So let me copy this command again. Selection. So let me break out of this. I'm going to restart it. Clipboard. Change back to the C drive. CD to users, and then CD to rob.start. And then now let's try our invoke web request here. The server committed protocol violation, status response status line. Root. That's so weird. I wonder why it is. What's doing that? Let me think. Well, whatever could be the reason. I haven't seen this particular error. Server committed protocol violation. Well, I mean, one thing we could do. Oh, let's see. System CTL. That's Apache. Apache 2. That's disabled. So if we come over and we start that server, we could just use the default Apache. Then we do the sudo tac I, and we'll cd into var tripdubs HTML. We're gonna remove all these files, those, and then let's copy home Cali web root here. Okay, cool. And then what we could do is we could try this again. So systemctl status patch 2. Make sure our server's up and running. It is running. Okay, let's go try that command again now over on PSXO. Hey, now we're kind of cooking with propane. the let's do sudo tac I. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna tail and follow the Apache access logs. Okay, cool. So we did have a get to Apollo http.exe. I gotta stop alt tabbing. I'm trying to alt tab to switch tmux panes. It's bite me in the ass. Did it not download? I'm pretty sure Defender's not running on Winterfell. Ten 11. It might be, Dan. Let's see. Let me think about this. If I do this. So 10.4.10.11 is DC2. So we go double check our DC2 setup. Let me close all these other ones. So DC2, I'm pretty sure Defender is not even enabled in this. Manage settings. Oh, real-time protection's on. Let's see here. Threat history. So it's 8/7 at 12:21 a.m. Yeah, we had a quarantine. That's what happened. Oh, Defender's enabled everything except server 02. All right. Well, for now, I'm going to turn it off. We're going to do this. We're going to do this in naked mode, and then I will turn it back on here a little bit later. There we go. Getting naked. Oh, little childrens. All right, so let's see if we can run Apollo http.exe, and then let's see if we get a damn it, I need // Apollo. So we're gonna run that, and then let's see if we got a new callback. Exit this callback. That was the one we had on our Kali machine just to test and see if it was working. Import callback. So did it not run? Doesn't look like it ran. Let me go check that C2 profile real quick here. Threat history. Real-time protection is off. It's 12:12 on the box, so we haven't done anything in the last 24 minutes, so we should be good. Because real-time protection is disabled. I gotta stop alt-tabbing, damn it. So Apollo's running, but for some reason it's not calling back. Let's go look at that real quick. So Apollo http.exe. Where's our C2 profile? It should have gone to this host, which should point to us. Dig this A record real quick. Oh, is it not resolving anymore? What the hell? Well, that's unfortunate. Let's go check something here. Where is that? I think we had to go to 10.4.10.54 3000. I think that's it. Yeah, there we go. Oh, damn it. You know what happened? I had that set up. Motherfucker. I had that set up over here to connect to it. And... oh, well, that's fine. Password. Now, where's our DNS rewrites that we had set up in here? Filters. DNS rewrites. Let's see, because we should have had one on here. I've seen it for some reason. I don't know what happened. Oh, that's why it's not connecting back. So DNS rewrites is a cheesy way for us to go in and put like our attack infrastructure in here. So the domain was foobar.nuts. So we'll do star.foobar.nuts, and it's going to be 10.4.10.9. We want this to point to this, and all subdomains to point to our Kali box. That's what we want. Save. Okay, cool. And now if we pop back over to... actually here, we go run this again. See, now it's resolving to our Kali IP address, so it should be good there. So let's go check our callbacks again. Callbacks? Back? Callback? No. That. So that's fine, because what we can do is... kill off that, and then what we'll do is we'll just run cmd.exe this time. I know, you're hungry for dinner. We'll make you dinner in just a second. You know. You gonna do stuff? Come on, do things. There we go. So, users, / I think it's rob.start. Is that right? Alright, then what we'll do is we'll run Apollo http.exe. Let me go check something on DC2 real fast. Big ns lookup sugon.foobar.nuts. So this guy doesn't know where to find that. Wait, why is your default gateway 10.4.10.254? Wait, that is supposed to be the default gateway. My bad. Before I start flying off the handle, it's the DNS server. I gotta double check. 10.4.10.11. Okay. .4.10.254. Yeah. Okay, so this is on DC2. Ten, 4, 10, 11. What is his DNS pointed to? I think his DNS server should actually be 10, 4, 10, 10. I think it should be pointing to DC01, shouldn't it? I mean, heck, actually his DNS server is this, but yeah, 10, 4, 10, 10. I think that's how that should work. I'm gonna try that. Let's go adjust this real fast. So rather than having him point to himself for DNS, let's see. Actually, I'm not sure about that now. Think about it. Let me check something real quick in the DNS configuration. Forward lookup zones. I'm trying to remember. I think this should be pointing to. It's been a while since I had to build a domain from scratch. You know what we can do is we could go through and I'm going to try something. I'm going to get a little crazy here. Let's edit this. Let's set his DNS resolver to .10. I think that should cause it to pass through. I don't remember though. So then if this is on DC01. If we hop back to DC02. Wait, no, this is DC02 right here. So 10, 4, 10, 10 is where it's pointed to now. Now, so even 10, 4, 10, 10 doesn't know where to look for it. Damn it. All right. We can make a modification. We can fix this. We have the technology. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to nuke these ones here. Remove. Because they're all using an HTTP profile that's just not going to work. Remove that. I'm going to get rid of the Merlin test one as well. And what we'll do is we're going to come back over to our C2 profiles. We're going to make a new profile. We're going to base it off of these nuts. And what we're going to do is we're going to call this one just by Kali IP. So what we'll do is we're just going to hard code the IP address. 10. Take this out. So we'll do 10.4.10.9. That's what we'll do. Great. And then what we'll do is we're going to go create a new payload. Come over here. New payload. Windows. And then we'll select the Apollo payload. We'll have it do a Windows executable. We'll have just let it load up the default commands. And then we're going to load up the Kali IP profile. We'll call this one HTTP. Great payload. Right, so the build process is currently functioning. Good. So we'll let this one build, and then what we'll do is we'll go download these again. So let's exit out of this, clear it out. And then what we'll do is I'm going to remove all of these guys. Kill those, we'll download it, and then we'll drop it on. So rather than copying from the web root, we're going to copy from downloads. Alright, cool. So that's done. So we'll download that. So look at this. The Go binary earlier, just, I know it's really hard to read, but it was 8 megs when we did this one. The Apollo one is 2 megs. Even that's a chunky boy. So I think we could get that smaller. All right, there we go. So we got our Apollo HTTP back. So then what we'll do is run this PowerShell. Ah, damn it, it's not pulling it up. Fine. So we'll do invoke web request. Actually, let me change directories real quick. CD to users, Rob Stark. Let's delete Apollo. Mission denied. Oh, because it probably thinks it's still trying to run. Yes, it did. Alright, fine. Invoke web request from 10.4.10.99 to be Apollo HTTP.exe. And what we'll do is we'll just set the out file just Apollo. Actually, I'm going to call it Apollo HTTP2. Alright, now let's run Apollo. So we'll do Apollo HTTP2.exe. And then now let's see if we got it. Come back. Come back. What? Let's go look at Rob's folder. So weird. I wonder why it's not calling back. Let's see, because we set the profile, right? Yeah, set to 10.4.10.99. And our callback options here, our profiles. How did this differ from Disney's? Let's see. Yeah, so the difference was a hosting. I mean, it should be calling back on. Yeah, Dan, I just realized that. Oh, the smooth brain strikes again. Yeah, I think you're right. I bet Apache is fucking it up. And then, which I'm surprised it actually started because the C2 profile should have already been listening. I think we would have seen something show up in the access log if it was conflicting, though. All right, let me think about this. Makes my brain hurt. Okay, let's see. Any callbacks? Oh, so we closed that, but also the this machine only has one IP address, right? And it should be listening on port 80. So let's go to our profiles. I'm gonna stop the C2 profile, the HTTP profile. I'm gonna, and then if I check, right, if I do SS ANO LT. So we don't have 80 listening right now. If we come restart the profile, we should see port 80 start listening. That's so weird. I would think I would have seen 80 listening on it. Actually, you know what I just realized? Oh, you're all kinds of jacked up. Exit. Okay. What the hell is going on here?
Caution. A virus has been detected.
Hey, Dennis.
Het_Tannis virus detected in the network.
What's up, dude? The Linux godfather himself. I will defend with the Cookie Monster virus. That is correct. It's pillage, then burn. The order of operations is very important. Dude, what were y'all up to tonight? Ask for Kelly and we shall receive you. What were my bash RC files not? Burning then pillaging. Confirm, sir. It's so weird. Oh, you know what? Losing track of my systems. There's no Mythic CLI on this machine because it's the wrong damn machine. It's this one. I'm going to restart all the containers because I bet the HTTP one got jacked up. Oh no, dude. Dan, it wasn't it's because we're pointing it to the wrong damn system. 99 is our attack box. 101 is the freaking C2 server. I killed myself with my stupidity sometimes. What does the looting fit in? Looting is a sub-action of pillaging. Pillaging's a strategy. Looting is a tactic in the strategy. Yeah, Morrison, go Frogs. Yep. Thankfully, I went there before they became the Harvard of the South, and the tuition cost just went through the roof. Pillaging's a tactic, looting is a lifestyle. Yeah, exactly. Yep, that was the problem. IP config. No, what's it? IP ADDR. This should be. Oh god, so many on here. Yeah, 10.4.10.101. That was the problem because we used 99 in the damn C2 profile. was in New Mexico Lobo for a while, never got to play against TCU. Dude, I was at TCU for... When did I go there? I went there in January 2012, I believe, and graduated December 2014. Never went to a single football game because I was taking a full or more course load and I was working full time, doing like IT everything at a junior college. Got it. Now I'm red pillaged. Yeah, dude. So like I worked. It was actually a really cool job because I got to do like Windows and Linux server administration, lots of virtualization, tons of networking, end user support, you name it. And so it was a really great 5 years because I went the entire time I was in school. I worked at that college and just got to touch tons of cool technology. So it really set me up well for. I was actually interviewing places my senior year during finals week, and I got my diploma on a Saturday. They actually gave you your diploma when you walk the stage, and I had to take it to orientation on Monday. So I could not have lined that up any better if I had tried. All right, so now we know the problem. Really? Here. So what we need to do is we need to go edit our profiles. So this one, Kali IP, is mostly correct, but not actually correct. It needs to go to .101. Update. And then if we go back over to this guy, I think if we trigger a new build action, it should work. Trigger new build. The joys of juggling your infra. Alright, I'm going to delete the old one here. Remove. I'm going to let this new one just build. And then we'll let it do its thing. We'll give it a second. What GUI interface are you using to manage all of your builds? So this is a system called Mythic, and it's a command and control framework. And we spent several months, probably from February to July, going through 0-point security's red team operator course, and everything in there is done in Cobalt Strike. Well, Cobalt Strike licenses are like $3,000, so I'm not getting one of those. So I thought it would be fun to stand up basically what is a damn vulnerable Active Directory lab, and then we're using Mythic C2, which is an open source command and control framework, to see, okay, here's what we did in Cobalt Strike. How do we do the equivalent over in Mythic? And that's what we're doing. Good, I finished building. So download. And let's go back over to our command line. So I didn't actually have to shut down the HTTP server because I forgot it's on a different system. Start that, we'll do a copy. I'm gonna copy that here. Okay, so now what we need to do is go back over to our remote code execution setup. And unfortunately, Apollo 2 is still running. So what I need to do again, let's go get our reconnection. We're going to CD over to users, Rob, Stark, do dir. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do invoke web request. Do exclamation point music, Cheeto, and I think it'll list it out. It's either exclamation point music or exclamation point OST. So invoke web request from 10.4.10.99, and we're going to get Apollo http.exe, and we're going to save this file as Apollo http3.exe, because we've had 2 previously failed attempts. Right, so that should download real fast. dir. All right, so we have Apollo 3, so now let's see if we can run it. In fact, I don't want to run it from here because I want to keep this up and running. Hey, there you go, Cheeto. That's what it is. So this is the music from the game Heartbound, which if you've ever watched Pirate Software, you instantly recognize the soundtrack. But he didn't open source it, but he has given permission for folks to use it like on live streams or even for background music for videos that they do on YouTube. The only restriction is you can't use it in your own video game and you cannot use it just as a re-upload. That's it. All right, so I'm going to run this directly from... Let's close this. I'm going to actually just run it by double-clicking it here. And let's go see if we get our callback. Come on, callback. No whammy? No whammy. No whammy. Wait. I think it whammied. It's just sad. Let me try. I want to try one more thing before I phone a friend. Let's make a new payload. So generate new payload. Windows. Yeah, we'll do a Windows executable. We'll leave the default command set in there, and we're going to set it to the Kali IP, which is really not the Kali IP. It should be. We shouldn't change the name of it. Okay, so it should be going to 10.4.10.101. That should work. Next. Then create payload. Let the build process happen. Let's go back over to our payloads real quick. All right, so this is still building. We'll give it just a minute to build out. Oh. All I really wanted to do, I actually thought I was going to be done and then go raid Tannis, but he beat me. Him and Tyler both beat me to it. Because we're just trying to get this C2 callback to work, and then we're going to start exploring the functionality tomorrow night. There we go. All right, so let's download Apollo. Let's go copy it over to our web root real fast. Where do I need to go? I need to go through. Do apollo.exe, copy it here. Man's is dragging ass. I'm not dragging ass. In fact, I had like... Well, actually, yeah, I was up till 5:30 in the morning trying to finish a pen test report that had to go out today. And I think I was actually up till 5, and then my wife got up at 5:30 this morning, comes in the office, and sees me just passed out in my chair, still sitting up. It's a talent I've got. And so she wakes me up, sends my ass to bed. I had to go take my son to a doctor's appointment. That's another reason why I was trying to get it done, because I didn't know how long it was going to take. And it's like a 45-minute drive to the doctor's office. So I go and I slept for like 3 hours, got up. She was awesome, already had my coffee made. We hopped in the car and went. Got back, knocked out the report. Then I went and took another like 2-hour nap. So that used to be like my daily freaking almost routine, was just get an hour nap whenever I could. And that was the only way I was able to survive like 2 years ago. Thankfully, I'm not the boss of the team anymore, so it hasn't been a problem. Let me tail the access log again. Yeah, you see all these posts we get back? This is what we should have been seeing if because we got it freaking going to the wrong thing. Oh wait, well, let me see if I can do something real quick. I'm gonna kill you. You die. Do those go away when I do that? Nope, they're still coming in. We still have an Apollo process running somewhere in here. Task manager, more details. Let's do details. Oh god, look at all these we got running. All right, in task. In task. In task. Bam. Okay. So those are all gone now. I have 2 kiddos. I've got I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. The 2-year-old, so the 5-year-old being my first son, I refer to him as Zero. And my 2-year-old, he is affectionately called the APT, the aggressively persistent toddler. And so oftentimes you'll see me have to step out of stream because I need to go contain the APT. Now, thankfully, we've recently decided that my wife will be the SOC, the supportive, organized caregiver. Oftentimes, the SOC is able to contain the APT. That sounds like a warning you'd get on your phone. Warning, APT on the loose. Yeah, exactly. He's good. He's at that stage where he's like, I only want to sleep in mommy and daddy's bed. I'm like, no, go sleep in your own bed. Okay. So we got this. All right, we need to go do another invoke web request over in PS exec. Get the new payload down. I'm just gonna copy this a little bit. Hollow.exe and then out file. Paulo.exe. dir. All right, cool. I'm gonna run this again from the console just to make it simple. All right, please tell me we got a callback now. New callback. Now the difference is this callback is actually because we ran it from the interface, it's coming back as local user. Check this out. If we want to get it actually running as Rob, we have Rob right here. We can just do /apollo.exe. And then bam, now we've got one as system, so we got ourselves a system beacon. Well, agent? Yeah, agents. Beacons that's a specific term to Cobalt Strike. I think I made the joke before, but just wait till it stands for teenagers. Oh god. That's probably gonna be angsty, pain in the ass teenagers. Actually, this worked out pretty well, because I think local user is a local admin on this box. Let's do... I can't zoom in on it. Let me just try something. Net, local group administrators. So local user is an admin, so that's not a bad deal. Plus, we're on a domain controller. Pretty much anybody who's on the domain controller is going to be an admin. Oh, it's funny. Caitlin, Edard, Rob are all local admins on here. Anybody who's an enterprise admin on Seven Kingdoms is also a local admin. Makes sense. Makes sense. All right, cool. Well, it is midnight. Usually I try to wrap up at 11. But I wanted these TAM callbacks. I had to make these callbacks happen. The callbacks were going to happen. And so after troubleshooting my ridiculousness, now it's working. So let's go check and see, do we have anybody up on InfoSec streams? And if anybody has a suggestion on who we can raid over to, please throw them out. We're not raiding the Black Hat Knock because at this time of night, there's nothing going on there anyway. But it's just a music fest right now. What's this? This guy's just chatting about earthquakes? Anyway, let's go see who's over in science and tech real quick. Got anybody doing cool tech stuff? Oh yeah, Braythorn's on. We could go raid him. Let's see, anybody else? This guy's doing PS2 modding. Hardware modding is always very fascinating to me because it's a topic I just haven't got to study real deep. So when folks explain it to me, I'm just like, oh, that's so damn cool. Let's see, anything useful here? No. All right, I'm gonna keep Braythorn in the as a potential. Let's go over to Software and game development. Let's go see who's running through here. Let's see. VR Christian stream. What are we doing? You know, you can tell programmers are shy. I think probably a good 70% of them are VTubers. Let's see, shape building, lots of games, not a lot of software building. Which I mean, I don't want to begrudge them. Game building is hard. So I like to see people who are doing a little bit more high tech stuff. Actually, let me check something real quick. Let's see if I got any friends online. Let's see, Coding with Strangers is on. One of the awesome DJs is on. Team Bash is on. Yeah, Dad, do exclamation point Discord, and it will drop the link in the chat. And so, Dan, I get a notice whenever somebody joins the Discord. I might message you to make sure it worked okay, because there's now onboarding questions. It should there's a not a trick question, but there's basically a "Are you a human?" question in the very beginning of the onboarding. And so, if you pick the wrong thing, it's going to put you over in the honeypot. You pick the correct thing, you get the human role, and you have access to the rest of the Discord. Don't bear open inside? Sounds weird. Okay, I'm kind of curious what this guy's doing here. Although I'll probably go right over to Braithorn, because he's helping folks actually do computer stuff. Yeah, he's doing some interesting coding, but I think he's building a video game. So probably what we'll do is we'll go right over to Braithorn real fast. All right, everyone. You guys have a fantastic rest of your Taco Tuesday. Well, it's over now as of 2 minutes ago for me. But Wednesday's here. It's hump day. Keep crushing the week. Get it going. We got 2 more days to finish strong. If you're going to be over at Black Hat and DEF CON, make sure you drink some damn water. It's 120 degrees in the desert. Also, wear comfy shoes before you fly out, because you're going to be walking like 10 miles a day. Also, don't forget to shower and eat. Those are the big ones. So, everyone, you'll have a fantastic night. Tomorrow, we'll start actually digging into that callback. We'll see what functionality translates from like Cobalt Strike, which we did in RTO, over into Mythic, and we'll have a good time with it. So I just want you to know one thing. I love you. Peace.